Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to York Run Stadium for tonight's game between the Albert Gallatin Colonials and the Connellsville Falcons. I am Rob Flockovich here with Tommy Victor. We have a very rainy night, to say the least, Tommy, here on senior night at Albert Gallatin. Senior night for football and the cheerleaders this evening as Connellsville takes the field. The Falcons winners of two games so far this season. Albert Gallatin still searching for that first win. Also, Tommy, the final game for Albert Gallatin, for those that do not know, Albert Gallatin will be leaving the Whippeal after this game as far as football goes.
Yep. It's going to be interesting to see moving forward where the program goes, what direction it takes. It's kind of uncharted water. I mean, the first case that I've heard of, I don't know about you, Robbie, but the first case of a school leaving the Whippeal in only one sport, too, which is going to be a different complex to this whole situation.
Yes, it's a very interesting. Albert Gallatin will be independent. They will not seek another conference as far as right now goes. In the future, things could change. I imagine things will change, but they will be playing an independent schedule. Now, that will include teams from the Pittsburgh City area. It could include teams from North Central West Virginia. Their main goal is to get teams like Connellsville, Uniontown, Laurel Highlands. They want to eliminate the massive travel because Albert Gallatin, I mean, they've had a
lot of long home trips.
They've had a long history of, I can recall a couple years ago when I was down there playing, traveling to Hollidaysburg, which is incredibly far away. It's about a 3-hour bus drive. So they really want to eliminate that and give these guys more of, I don't want to say more of a shot. The scores so far this year, as I said, Albert Gallatin has not won a game. The scores are not very well, but they want to find that kind of median where they can compete against schools that are the same kind of competition, such as Connellsville. If Albert Gallatin has a chance to win a game this year, I would say Connellsville is their closest competition-wise. Albert Gallatin, we broke down the numbers. They've been outscored this season by 462 points. Points for Albert Gallatin, they put up 32, so 462 to 32. Not that impressive.
No, and I mean, you can't expect. I mean, there's a big difference between competing and losing and just losing.
Yes.
There's a big difference. And it's been an unfortunate tradition that's been Colonial football.
Yes, absolutely, for the past couple years, to say the least. Now, Albert Gallatin's closest margin of victory was against Laurel Highlands High School this season, so a team that they'd like to get into that independent schedule. That game ended, I will pull it up here in a second. That game ended, I believe it was 39 to 14, 39 to 13 to be exact. So not exactly where you want it to be. Years of adjustments could really help that out, but 39 to 13 is a heck of a lot better than a performance against McKeesport where you lose 56 to 0.
And I think a key thing with this move that Albert Gallatin has decided to do is they need other schools to follow suit. They can't do this on their own. As much as I would like to say, they control their own destiny at that point with how they schedule. The fact of the matter is, every school is only going to have 1 or 2 slots that they can fill them with.
Absolutely, and Albert Gallatin can't expect teams to give up bye weeks. They can't expect them to give up weeks in the early season as the captains take the field here for Albert Gallatin and Connellsville. We're about 2 minutes and 20 seconds away from game time here. Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting. I hope we're back next year, Tommy, to evaluate that. It's going to be very interesting to see how that works out. I as far as the situation goes, I'm happy to see them
Yeah.
finally make a change.
I'm hoping that it sends a message to the Whippeal. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I
yes.
want to see Colonial football in the Whippeal.
Yes.
Plain as day.
And they
I'm
still
hoping
could be. They still
yeah,
could be.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
nothing's. I mean, it has been. I don't want to say set in stone, but essentially it's in motion now. But maybe the Whippeal reevaluates. Maybe if they see
Yes.
you have 4 schools from a local area pulling out, maybe they think of realigning. Maybe
No.
they think of some type of system that accommodates schools in Albert Gallatin's situation, Collinsville situation, Uniontown
Absolutely, yeah.
situation.
All the Fayette County schools, to say the least. Now, Connellsville's won.
Aside from
2
that,
games.
LH has had some competitive.
LH has had some competitive football. Laurel Highlands has had some competitive football. But as far as the last even like 2 or 3 years goes, I mean, Connellsville has 2 wins. Albert Gallatin has 0 wins. I believe Laurel Highlands has 2 wins. Uniontown I'm not entirely familiar with, but I know their win total is not very high. So if you see even just a couple schools from just Fayette County down here, now the Whippeal is the whole western side of the state, but it's enough to get you on your toes
Yeah.
if you're a head person with the Whippeal.
And I feel like the big driver for the Whippeal to do this not only is the competitive nature of what they're trying to make, but also the crowd attendance.
Yes, I mean, it is not for senior night, the last game of the season, against a very I would say overall fairly equally matched opponent.
And local.
Local,
yeah.
absolutely. Connellsville High School can't be more than about a half hour from here, so it's definitely not hard to make the drive. But despite a little bit of nasty weather, not too high of attendance here as Albert Gallatin gets ready to kick off to Connellsville.
And we've seen that all year. It's not like this is just a low attendance game, you know. Weather definitely is playing a factor tonight.
Absolutely. It's a short kickoff for Albert Gallatin, returned by Connellsville. Straight up the middle. The ball drops about the 27-yard line of the Falcons. They're able to return it roughly to the 32-yard line as we're underway here, up to the 33 to be exact. Connellsville's going to have a 1st and 10 for the first drive of this evening's game.
Number 5, Joseph Delabar.
Let's see. Not very familiar with Tommy. Not very familiar with Connellsville, Tommy, as Connellsville drops back in the shotgun. Lets out a quick slant pass to the corner.
Joshua Mayer connecting number 12, Jalen Ross.
That throw was by quarterback number 16. I have him on here as Joshua Maurer.
Yes, and the catch was by Jalen Rogers over on the sideline there. So already the Falcons, well, not quite have a first down. It was a little short. 2nd and 2 from the 41.
And Josh is listed on here as a 6'6" junior.
He's a nice size down there. I'm looking at him run now, and he definitely is head and shoulders above the competition.
Number 26, Gavin Connor.
Devin Connor makes a quick run up the left side for the Falcons. Now that, in fact, will give Connellsville a first down. 1st and 10 from the 46-yard line. First down of the game, Tommy, will come at way of the Falcons. Colonials, it's better than seeing, the 65-yard rushes on one play.
Yeah. But they're definitely going to need to have an answer, because right now, I mean, Collinsville is not scared to throw the ball. They're going empty set.
Mayer dropped back, and he is leveled. Absolutely leveled. And that was a great rush by the Colonial defense. Dylan Shea with an excellent sack on the play.
It doesn't get much better than that.
No, not at all. He was virtually untouched as he came into the Falcon backfield, and that's already going to set Connellsville back. Connellsville's going to end up back at their 38-yard line. It's going to be a 2nd and 18 for the Falcons. Great play by Shea.
And that's the one disadvantage with an empty set backfield. You have no one there to protect
Nobody
you.
Nobody to protect you.
And 99% of the time, you're passing the ball.
Absolutely. Nobody to hand it off to. It's going to be pretty tough. Looks like we're going to have a flag against the Falcons. Maybe a delay of game, potentially? I'm not entirely sure. Referee dropped the flag while Connellsville was getting set, so that's going to wipe 5 more yards off for the Falcons. It's going to be 2nd and 23 from the 33. Mayer takes the snap, hands it off, and they're just stopped in the backfield. Colonial defense.
And it looks like Dylan Shea was there to have the initial stop.
Dylan Shea, they're going to give Dylan Shea credit for the tackle once again. He is having a nice game so far. Colonial defense has Connellsville backed up to a 3rd down and 27.
And here's what we've been preaching all season about the Colonials. Can they capitalize on opportunities? Right here you have an opportunity to nail them down on their first drive and force them to punt.
Absolutely, let alone the first drive of the game. Really set a tone here for the Colonials. As the Falcons going to take their first time out, I don't disagree with this time out for the Falcons to get some things together, maybe find out a way to control Dylan Shea a little bit.
Control his defense. I mean, after the first 2 plays, there hasn't been much going on for the Falcons. I mean,
he's virtually running into the backfield untouched. Let's look for him to have a nice rest of the game here as Connellsville, like we just mentioned, takes that timeout with 9:51 left in the first quarter.
And it looks like the Falcons have a good air attack. I mean, they are running a shotgun formation.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're not afraid to go empty set. But the thing is, the quarterback has to have time. No matter how good your receivers are, no matter how good his arm is, you still need to give him time, and he hasn't had that.
Absolutely. I mean, no receiver is instantly going to break where he needs to be. Falcons back on the field, and there is an obvious encroachment call against the Colonials at left defensive end. That might have been Shea, but that'll be a minor penalty, and the way he's been playing so far,
let him be overly aggressive.
I think we can let him slide here. Ref's going to converse here. Maybe they saw a Falcon.
I'll say the quarterback,
well.
I noticed, it's not that popular, but quarterbacks often get called with a false start, and that may have been it.
That's going to be against the Colonials. Good eye on the quarterback, which it's a very rare thing, but it definitely could happen. But I just happened to be focused on the line of the scrimmage there, and I definitely saw Shea take a pretty hefty step towards the Falcons' backfield, a place he's been.
And if I'm the
familiar
Colonials,
with.
I'm okay with that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's playing the game aggressive. This is the most aggressive I've seen the Colonials' defense all season. As Mayer drops back, launches the ball down the field, and it's completely overthrown.
For number 15, Jared Azias.
And that's the first time I can recall where the Colonials have forced a punt.
Let alone on the opening drive.
Yeah.
Let alone on the opening drive. The Falcons will convert to a punt formation as the rain continues to fall.
And that will be a factor in special teams.
It absolutely will be a factor. We saw on the opening kickoff, the Colonials' kickoff only made it about 25, 30 yards, whereas they've had no problem getting it down to about the 10-yard line.
And you wonder if that's almost like a strategy, being that it's so wet out, hoping a player tries to scoop it and it's wet.
Could be. You want to get it into the, into typically, I don't recall how Connellsville was set up, but typically you have a front line, a middle line, and your back line is your skilled return guys. Maybe you get somebody that's not so used to getting the ball on a high fly like that. Could result in a muffed ball as Albert Gallatin takes over for their first offensive drive. We got 9:36 left in the first quarter. It's going to be 1st and 10 Colonials from the 32-yard line.
And if I'm the Colonials, I'm coming out firing.
Absolutely.
I'm pulling out all the stops.
Their defense played aggressive, and that worked, so you need to play a little aggressive on offense to put up with it. Get an opening drive touchdown here as the Colonials it's a fake handoff. Pretty nice play action handoff to the fullback. Going to be a toss back to the running back.
And carrying the ball, number 25, Torrey Robinson.
Robinson's going to be the overall carrier of the ball. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. He was stopped pretty quickly. Good job by the Falcons.
The Colonials definitely have motivation.
Absolutely.
I mean, they have some pep in their step compared to previous games, and that's the whole thing about getting out of the whoopie hole as well. You're getting, I mean, with a game like this, players know players on the other side. There's definitely a different type of feel compared to playing a team in Armstrong.
This is different than when Armstrong's a good example, when Plum came here, McKeesport. These guys are right down the road as Albert Gallatin's going to have a 1st and 10 on the 44. Penalty helped the Colonials out. And we have a loose ball in the backfield. We'll see which the Colonials were able to fall on it.
And there's a flag.
We got some unhappy people on both sides here, so let's see what happens.
That was definitely an unnecessary hit by a Connesville player.
Yes. Albert Gallatin's going to have the ball. We already have that segment. That was pretty obvious. There were only 2 guys in the backfield, and one of the players was the one that ultimately let the ball slip away, and the other one was the recipient.
Well, and here's the thing to keep in mind, Robbie. In high school football, as soon as the knee's down, you're down.
You're down.
So, in my opinion, that is definitely a personal foul call against the Falcons.
He definitely came in. I get the aggressiveness. It's a loose ball. You know, you could get some great field position, but be smart, too. Be smart for your team, too, because on offense you didn't do a whole lot. So you don't want to cost defensive yards as well as offense. It's going to be a personal foul against Connellsville here as they take see how far. I would imagine that would be a 15-yarder.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like that was definitely warranted. I mean,
I imagine that will be 15 yards here, and it looks like the Colonials recovered that fumble at about the 32-yard line. That's where our referee's standing right now. As a couple other guys go down and explain to the Connellsville sideline what happened. Albert Gallatin sideline also getting a bit of an explanation. We'll see where the Colonials get. They were originally at their 44, so they would have to get down. Well, yeah, that fumble's going to put a damper on that penalty.
But it definitely helps.
It definitely helps. It definitely helps. That was only 1st down due to another penalty.
And another big thing, this is now 2 times that Connellsville's really hurt themselves with penalties.
So we got 9:20 left in the first quarter. It's going to be from the 47-yard line of the Colonials. They might be able to break midfield here, Tommy, as we got another handoff over to the right side. We'll update you on who got that handoff in just a moment.
I like that play call.
I do too. Robinson once again with that play call. A little tough to see behind the glass. It's getting a little damp here as the
wind and rain is picking up.
We are behind glass, but the window next to me is open, and I'm getting plenty of rain on me at the moment, so it's going to be a factor for us too. But Albert Gallatin will wind up with a 3rd and 7 here. The yard to gain is the 46-yard line of the Falcons. Very doable from their own 48-yard line. Albert Gallatin's going to take the direct handoff. They're going to be met at the line of scrimmage. Cole DuPont with the ball.
And he's been running downhill all season. I mean, he even got back to line where it wasn't a given that he was going to get back.
No.
Now, see, I don't know how I feel about the Colonials punting here. I understand it's early in the game, but your defense stepped up. I mean, you could try something.
It could be worth it. It could always be worth it. But that definitely wasn't a disappointing offensive drive.
No.
Somebody might have got a hand on that punt. It was tough to see. Albert Gallatin's going to fall on it and down the ball as it takes a bit of a Falcon bounce, nothing more than a couple yards, but don't want to give them more yards than you have to. Nathan Sutton on the punt for Albert Gallatin.
I think someone got a hand on
this evening. It definitely looked like it. It was tough to tell. I mean, whenever they get instant replay for high schools, we'll be really set. But it definitely – it was more of a line drive, and I don't know if he got it over that line of scrimmage, especially with the low takeoff, because I've seen him hit some pretty nice punts too, and it just did not travel very far. So I'm thinking somebody got a finger on that as Connellsville gets set for their first offensive play, which is going to be a handoff to the right side. And Albert Gallatin there. There.
Falcons, number 26, Gavin Connor.
Gavin Connor on the run for Albert Gallatin.
And he was dragging a Colonial on the ground who had a hold of his jersey.
He absolutely was dragging a couple, at least one Colonial. That was a nice run for him. Unfortunately, he didn't get more than 2 yards as we have 7:25 left in the first quarter. It's going to be 2nd and 8 from the Falcon 45.
He had 5 miles of yardage, or miles of distance, but only about 2 yard gain.
Connellsville runs another play here. Back in the pocket, another nice pass by Mayer.
Catch is made by number 12, Jalen Rogers.
Jalen Rogers going to be the receiver of the Mayer pass. Now that was what Connellsville was looking for, Tommy. There wasn't a Colonial in sight in that backfield.
No, short passes are definitely what the Falcons are going to look for, because the weather plays a factor on the long throws, but short throws, you can get away when it's raining.
Absolutely. 3rd and 2, Falcons break into Colonial territory. Let's see if the Colonials can put together another stop. Very close to being sacked. That's going to be close, Tommy. They might need to bring the chains out for that.
I don't think he got it. I mean, it all depends the spot.
Colby Verano of Albert Gallatin.
Colby Verano on a very nice tackle. Mayer in the Falcon backfield just forced to try to pull a miracle with his feet.
And they're not going to bring the chains out.
See what happens here, Tommy. It was a 3rd and 2. I've got a 4th and 1 as a spot.
More like 4th and inches if I had to guess from our view.
I would say 4th and inches. Yeah, I would definitely.
4th down and 1 for the Falcons.
They're going to run it 4th down and 1 from the Colonial 47.
And the Colonials
by Connellsville here.
They need to not get caught in trying to plug up the middle.
Absolutely, they need to. Now that plugging up the middle worked, but Connellsville's going to adjust, and Connellsville able to evade a couple tacklers right up the left side. I think, barring the Colonial holding on, I think he would have held him in the backfield for a turnover on downs. But
they had good penetration, just not able to wrap him up.
Just did not wrap him up, and that's fundamentals and basics. But not executing on the fundamentals is going to give Connellsville a 1st down. Robinson on the ball again for Connellsville. Gets him down to the Colonial 39-yard line as we get ready for a 1st and 10. Bayer back in the backfield, got some motion on the line for Connellsville. Got a nice pass by Mayer, another completion.
Blake Lancaster of the Falcons.
Blake Lancaster going to be on the reception for the Falcons. About a nice 15-yard gain.
What I noticed on that play, Robbie, the cornerback was playing at least 11 yards off the wide receiver there.
Yes.
I mean, you can't – I know you want to give somewhat of a cushion, but the short passes are what they've been going to. You can't give a guy that much space, and he sat just in the open.
Absolutely, yeah. It was nothing less than wide open. Mayer back again in the shotgun. That same look by the Colonial defense, get that edge rusher just to chase him, make him a little uncomfortable, but he's very poised back there, I will say, other than that sack earlier.
15, Jared Azias.
It helps when you're 6'6".
Yes, absolutely. As Azias for the Falcons reels in that pass.
The ability to be able to look over the line, scan the field, and not get caught with the traffic in front of you it's an intangible. You can't teach it. You can't teach size. You can't teach height.
2nd down and 9 for the Falcons. Going to be all the way down to the Colonial 24-yard line. Mayer going to dump the ball off, and that's going nowhere. Well, he had some life there for a second, but Albert Gallatin is going to be able to.
Holding on to the ball, tackling in the backfield, number 15, Jared Azias.
And that was a good play, but the Colonials are having tackling issues.
Yes, they are. Now, they were able to really storm the backfield there, and Azias, who's been very popular for the Falcons here so far,
he
had nowhere to go, and that's fine whenever there's nowhere to go, but you know, you're probably going to be able to bring him down. But even like I said, he almost popped free
Yep.
there. They really got to tighten up those arms.
Especially when it's wet like this.
Yes.
The jerseys are slick. The pans are slick.
Oh, it's nothing short of miserable as Mayer drops back in the pass. I'm highly impressed as Mayer throws the ball down the field, overthrown on the 3rd and 19.
Pass to complete intended for number 18, Gage July.
So the Colonials end up bailing themselves out, getting the nice stop in the backfield. But as we were saying, Tommy, I mean, I can remember playing football at Albert Gallatin here, going into the field house after a game, taking my shoulder pads off after a game and just water falling out, just like somebody opened a bottle of water and just dumped it. So it plays a big factor.
And this is the type of game where you're happy you play on turf.
Absolutely, yeah. Very nice turf field here at Albert Gallatin. Actually newly replaced as Connellsville is going to go for the 4th and 19 from the 34-yard line. Mayer's back. Evades that pressure once again. He's going to roll out to the sideline, and he's going to be taken out of bounds. Nice game by Mayer, but that Colonial rush 2 or 3 plays ago really bailed them out.
Number 16, Joshua Mayer. Forced out of bounds, number 2, Cole DuPont.
It's going to be a turnover on downs for the Falcons. Now, I can't quite tell where they're going to spot this ball just yet, but I know he did not go 19 yards. So that's 2 straight stops for the Colonials on defense now.
The big thing that has to be on alert for the Colonials, you don't want your defensive ends playing too aggressive and pinching in, going for a sack. That right there was a perfect example of
Absolutely,
not containing.
yes.
And I mean,
yes. Mayer, now let me fact check here. Mayer is they conveniently did not put his class on there.
He's a junior.
Is he a junior?
Yep.
Okay. He's a junior. He's very poised back in that backfield
Yeah.
for the Falcons. Now, I don't know how long he has been playing, but I wouldn't be surprised if you told me he's been playing since he was a freshman.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, he wasn't too – he went through his reads on that 4th down. He didn't rush to try to, I have to get that first down with my feet. I have to do it by myself. Poised, stayed in the backfield, checked his options, saw there was no one else, saw the defensive end pinched in, and took advantage.
Absolutely. Albert Gallatin's going to have a 2nd and 10 here from their own 25-yard line. 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter. We're still deadlocked at 0 as Tommy, it was tough to tell. I think that was a quarterback keeper by Moody. Minimal game regardless.
And you wonder, when are the Colonials going to open up their playbook?
Well, here we are in week 9, and Albert Gallatin's football schedule included 9 weeks, so we could be waiting a little longer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the one thing the Colonials, their offense does not have the big momentum plays.
They do not. They do not. But if they can string enough together here, they really have a shot on a 3rd and 6 from their own 29-yard line. Their defense is doing the job against the Falcons. What looks like was another quarterback keeper.
That's a strange call on 3rd and 9.
Interesting. Interesting. Going to bring up a 4th down for the Colonials.
And on the keeper, number 11, Braden Moody.
It was another keeper. Brings up a 4th down and 1, and unfortunately Albert Gallatin only made it to their own 34-yard line. Or I'd be okay with going for it on 4th and 1, but not. Doesn't matter how good your defense is playing, not this close to your own end zone.
Yeah,
Well, Colonials might get lucky once again.
And we do have a flag on the play.
We might get lucky once again.
And you wonder, Robbie, what the logic is not to try to do that when you're on the 47-yard line.
Absolutely. And they are going to get lucky. It looked like Gabriel McCrum for the Falcons. Little anxious there on the right side of the defense. He's going to hand Albert Gallatin a 1st down. Connellsville's penalties really hurting them right now. They're doing them in pretty poor situations.
Inconvenient
For the Falcons as Albert Gallatin's going to hand off the ball to the right side, going nowhere but backwards. Cole DuPont on the carry for the Colonials. time runs out here in the first quarter. Might be able to run one more play. It does not appear they're going to. They're running awfully slow for about 20 seconds left. 2nd and 13's coming up for the Colonials.
It looks like they're going to try to get one off.
10 seconds on the clock here. If they set quickly enough, they could snap the ball.
Unless you try
here.
drawing off sides.
Also very true. Well, we do have a play with about 3 seconds to go. Here's our first pass of the game, and it is in and out of the hands.
Pass complete, tender for number 25, Torrey Robinson.
In and out of the hands of Robinson, and that's
he was open, though.
That's disappointing. He was very open, but
the throw was a bit high,
it
overthrow,
was a bit high. It hit his hands. It was a bit high, but this weather, it'd be tough for anybody. I will give him that. Did a very nice job laying out, trying to get that ball, just not quite enough. Ball will stay with the Colonials whenever we roll into the second quarter here as the first quarter comes to an end. Tommy, we're deadlocked at 0.
I think it's safe to say we're going to have ourselves a ball game here.
We have a ball game. We have a ball game for the first time this season, and it's pretty nice to
it's exciting.
Nice to say, yeah. 0-0 going into the 12 minutes on the clock for the second quarter. 3rd and 13 for the Colonials on their own 36-yard line. Going to be the opposite 36-yard line after they flip the field. I like the intensity from both the teams, though, tonight, Tommy.
Yeah, I like that. And then, as I mentioned before, this is what you get with local games.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can't replicate this by judging schools off of their size.
Absolutely. And this is what the goal is for Albert Gallatin, to play a team like Connellsville, who's a local, same kind of competition. And you can see, Tommy, it's no secret. We covered the game, McKeesport, end of the first quarter. It was 28-0 or so.
It was rough. I mean, it was bad. And you feel bad for the kids, honestly, when it all comes down to it.
Now, McKeesport's a very good team, but that's pretty much the tone for every game as the Colonials take the snap. Moody's going to scramble around, and he drops the ball. Looks like Albert Gallatin's going to be able to fall on it. It's going to come down.
He took a hit.
He did take a hit. Drops the ball on the 3rd and 13 play. The Colonials lucky once again and recover their own fumble. So,
and it was recovered by the Colonials.
No harm done. We are going to roll into a 4th down. You never want to see somebody fumble, but if you fumble it, it's always nice to see somebody fall on it that's wearing your same
I'll say
uniform.
that was recovered by Alex McMiller, a senior, so that's huge.
Absolutely. We have a flag on the play here.
And we do have a flag on the play.
Not upset with the flag because Connellsville rushed Nathan Sutton back there pretty quickly, as well as
that could have been a lot worse.
Yes, he got rushed pretty quickly, and he had a little bit of a high snap to corral there. So
it's something how beginning of the year we were praising the special teams.
Absolutely, they were having some incredible plays there against some pretty powerhouse schools, and as we have another high punt and a quick Falcon rush. Oh, it's going to take a very nice Colonial bounce. They definitely lucked out on that one.
He had no time.
He had no time. There was a player right in his face from Connellsville. I wish I could have caught the number. He was pretty upset with himself that he did not get that block, but without the quick thinking of Sutton there to shift out to the right side, he definitely would have. But lucky for the Colonials as a whole, it took that 12 to 15-yard bounce, and that's going to put Connellsville back to their own 39-yard line, where they might have been able to get the ball on their own side of the field. 1st and 10 from the 39, 10:58 left in the second quarter here. Connellsville puts a man in motion. It's going to be a direct snap handoff to the left side of the field. Pretty instantly stopped by the Colonials. Connor's going to be on the carry for the Falcons as play resets. Dylan Shea and Julius Dotson.
And he's having a very good game.
They're going to be your 2 run stoppers. And Tommy, he is having a good game, and it's the second quarter.
Yeah.
Early in the second quarter. We're barely 2 minutes into the second quarter. He's been all over the stat line this evening as Connellsville takes the shotgun snap. Passes out to a wide-open receiver. We're going to have, not listed on the roster here, trying to receive the ball. So that is unfortunate, but Mayer, one of the very few times, has actually overthrown one of his receivers as he comes in with the play for the Falcons. Falcons already have a 3rd down and 8 from their own 41-yard line. Colonials may be able to stop them once again here.
This defense is very impressive, but still, look at the cushion is just unbelievable these cornerbacks are giving.
Absolutely. Now here's a pass from Mayer. Looks like it was incomplete. I see the ball rolling down the Colonial sideline about 20 yards farther than the receiver lays on the ground, so I'm going to say that's an incompletion.
The angle we had, it looked like it was going to be a very, very, very good catch.
It was a tight window, and I thought he caught it, but as we said, there went the ball, and there stayed the receiver. So
nonetheless, it was a good throw on the run.
Absolutely. Mayer's very poised back there. So there goes the Colonials holding Connellsville once again. No first downs on this drive. It's going to be 4th and 8 from their own 41 as Connellsville gets ready to punt the ball here. Hopefully the Colonials can get the same pressure that the Falcons just had. Very well contained. Really nice punt for the weather conditions. Going to have a return to the right side. Maybe 2 or 3
That was
yards.
a dangerous decision right
Maybe
there.
2 or 3 yards. That's a fair catch all the way. That's a fair catch all the way. I give him the credit that he caught the ball and secured the ball with that much traffic around, so that's all fine. But
and he moved forward, which is a big thing. A lot of times, I think on a punt return, you see you're not going to have much room to go in front of you. Some tend to try to kick it out, try to circle around. He just ran forward, got what he could get, and
he took what he could get.
Yep.
He took what he could get. Albert Gallatin going to take over 1st and 10 on their own 30-yard line. 10 minutes exactly left in the second quarter. Still deadlocked at 0. Moody under center puts that man in motion that we've been talking about all season. Drops back for a pass. Little bit of Falcon pressure, and that pass is on the money. And he fakes out a man. He's still on his feet. Down to the Colonial 45-yard line.
Number 21, it looked like.
Philip Dennis.
Yeah.
I take that back. Angelo Doyle.
If it was
Angelo
21,
Doyle.
it's hard to tell from where we're at,
yes.
but it looked like number 21 had that, and he's listed as a wide receiver.
Yes,
so.
it was Angelo Doyle, if we are correct. The roster here caught me off guard a little bit, so we're going to go Angelo Doyle on the excellent reception. Another senior here having a good night. So the Colonials running with a full head of steam here. And there's the little bit of getting a little flexible passing the ball as the Colonials run the toss out to the right side.
Carrying the ball for Albert Gallatin, number 28, Caleb Lang.
Caleb Lang with the run, and these Colonials, they're not giving up. I mean,
they're not giving up. This is
it's fun to watch.
Absolutely, I like what I see out of the Colonials tonight. Nothing but aggressiveness, fighting. I mean, it's no secret that Lang on that last play wasn't getting much, but he put on a nice fight at the end there to just get back to the line of scrimmage as we have 2nd and 10 from the Colonial 45-yard line.
Cole DuPont in the backfield as a running back.
DuPont having a little bit of issues this evening. Going to continue as he might have lost a yard. If he did not lose a yard, he just got back to the line of scrimmage.
And you wonder why they're putting him in a 3-point stance out of the backfield, but
very interesting calls to say the least. So we have a 3rd down and 10 that got the Colonials down to. We have a 3rd down and 10 following the nice receiving play from Moody to Doyle that got the Colonials down to their own 45-yard line, but we've stalled a little bit.
You can't squander that big play.
No.
You have to keep moving. You have to change it up. I can't see him running the ball here. It just wouldn't make sense.
I'd surely hope not, as Moody puts that man in motion, drops back. He is going to throw. The Falcon rush pretty extensive, and he's going to complete that pass for another Colonial first down, and he is busted out into the open. 10-5 touchdown.
Number 25, Torrey Robinson.
Touchdown, Torrey Robinson.
Albert Gallatin 6.
Open the playbook.
Absolutely.
That was impressive.
Absolutely. That was a heck of a play.
The crowd definitely likes it too.
They definitely like it. The Colonials' first lead of the season.
Number 32, Nathan Sutton.
Got a little bit of a personnel change for Albert Gallatin here as they have scored a touchdown.
Called by the Colonials.
Coach Dindal out there want to talk over what's going to happen for the PAT here.
And not to sound like this, but the Colonials haven't scored a lot this year, so you want to keep composure. You're in this game. It's the first time they've scored in a game that they were competitively into. You don't want to lose your poise and focus.
Not at all.
And lose that drive and that hunger to win a game.
Absolutely. And we finally saw those couple passing plays, Tommy. We finally saw them.
It's just nice for them to open up the playbook.
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer in the more plays you have, the better. Even if you haven't maybe practiced them as much as you'd like with other plays, you have to change it up. You can't use the same 5 plays.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It appears Albert Gallatin's going to kick the extra points. 6-0 Colonials. That kick is up. That kick is going to be good. 7-0 Colonials. Colonials in the lead. 7:40 left in the second quarter. Well, what a game so far by Albert Gallatin. It's hard to put into words.
We have a game and not an exhibition.
Absolutely. Little stoppage in play here as Albert Gallatin's kicking unit gets set and Connellsville's return unit gets set. Now the Colonials need to put together a nice defensive stand here, Tommy.
They need to contain on this kickoff too.
They need to contain on this kickoff, and they need to put this nice defensive stand together because 7-0 could turn into 14-7 real quick.
Yep. And it's a lot harder to play from behind than it is to play with a lead.
Yes, sir. Never want to play catch-up. Colonial's going to kick the ball off here. Here comes the kick. Pretty high kick. Bob again.
Fair catch. And that's a smart idea.
That is a smart idea. Not bad field position. Going to spot him probably at the 32. I think he took a little bit of a stutter step just to regain his balance there. Yeah, very smart decision by Connellsville. Looks like they're actually going to give him the 34. Connellsville getting ready to attack the offense here. Colonials getting ready to defend their 7 points. Got Mayer in a shotgun, one man behind him in the backfield. Going to be a handoff, and he's going to be stopped pretty immediately by the Colonial defense.
Gavin Connor with the run. They've been calling his number a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah, those running backs back there between Connor and Azias, very busy, as well as Mayer's arm being very busy. They have a very balanced attack.
I was just going to say, their offense
attack
is perfectly balanced.
Yes. Mayer going to drop back from that shotgun. He's going to throw a ball out to the left side to Rogers. Rogers going to have the ball in and out of his hands, though.
And he's going to have some explaining to do on that.
He's going to have some explaining to do. I was just going to say it wasn't a Colonial within about 5 yards, and he was well away from the sideline. It was just in and out of his hands. He's going to have a lot more explaining to do, Tommy. Not saying that it's not still wet down there, but the downpour looks like it has finally ceased here.
Yeah, I was going to say he can't use the wet ball as an excuse on that one.
Yes, and the referees, as well as I'm sure Mayer and Moody, at least have a towel on them. Mayer drops back in the shotgun. Going to be another passing play for Mayer. Rushed by the Colonials. He's going to throw in desperation. Nearly intercepted.
That was good pass defense.
That
right
was
there.
Excellent pass defense.
And it's uncharacteristic of Mayer to throw in double coverage like that. I mean,
he's been so good this whole game so far, moving around, dealing with pressure, making something out of nothing, and just to throw an errant ball like that is.
You may wonder, it could have been, we're down by 7. We're on the road. We need to get something going. Didn't want to throw it away.
It could be aggressiveness. As the Falcons get set to punt, Colonials do put on that stand. 4th and 9 from Connellsville's 35. They are going to punt the ball away.
That's a good punt.
Very nice punt. Colonials wait for the fair catch. Bobbing the ball around in his hands.
Looks
Stone
like
able to recover.
Christian Stone learned his lesson from the last punt.
Yes.
Pretty sure Coach Stindle gave him a talk about that.
I'm pretty sure as that ball made contact with Connellsville's punter's foot. I think I saw. I don't think I could turn my head fast enough, but I saw his hand going up. So Colonials, another chance here. 1st and 10 from their own 28 with 6:51 in the second quarter. Another chance to score.
You have to be aggressive. You can't be passive. You can't try to, sit on a lead. You have to go, get the points, keep it moving, keep possession too. That's a big thing. I mean, you want to keep the ball in your court. You don't want to give them the chance to get more points and catch up.
Absolutely, Tommy's Moody's going to put a man in motion. Going to drop back. He's going to throw the ball. Something that worked out very well. Little bit of didn't look so organized on that play.
No.
Didn't look so organized.
It looked like his initial read was to number 25, Torrey Robinson, and he wasn't originally open, and Moody didn't know. There wasn't a plan B on that.
There was some confusion on that one. Moody having his body turn one way but trying to throw another way. Didn't really work out very well. He started to get rushed on that left side of the defensive line by the Falcons as well. So
I say just keep passing the ball.
Keep passing the ball. 2nd and 10 from the Colonial 28-yard line. Keep passing the ball, Tommy. Your defense is obviously doing the job. Get a little lax with the playbook as we have another fumble by Albert Gallatin. I don't think they're going to get lucky this time. I don't think they're going to get too lucky and recover the ball this time. Waiting for a referee signal here.
I was going to say, it looked like the Colonials got there first. Wow, that's shocking.
Giving the ball. That's a massive
I don't know about you, Robbie, but it looked like Colonials were all over that.
It was tough to see, but I guess that's why we're up here.
Yep.
I guess that's why we're up here. That's a massive momentum swing.
That's why we're wearing solid colors instead of stripes, I guess.
Yes, sir. Yes. So the Falcons going to take over on their own 26-yard line for a 1st and 10. Plenty of time before the half, 6 minutes and 32 seconds.
And this is a big defensive stand here.
This is a huge defensive stand. As Mayer takes the handoff. Mayer gives off the ball, I should say. He does not take the handoff. For a minimal gain. Lancaster with enough of a gain for the Falcons.
See, that was about a 5-yard run.
Let's say it's about a 5-yard gain, and that's not going to shock the world or anything, but that's not a bad first down play. 2nd down and 4, 6-yard gain. Going to be at the 20-yard line of the Colonials.
Corners are playing up now, only giving about 5 yards.
Absolutely.
And that's very crucial because the quick plays are what are really the only thing that's hurting the Colonials.
Now here's something we haven't seen by the Falcons or Mayer yet at quarterback keeper. You could tell that caught the Colonials off guard. Connellsville's going to start pulling some tricks out of the bag here.
And that was a well-designed draw. I mean, that wasn't
that
was meant to go like that.
That was meant to go like that. That was not Mayer scrambling. That was Mayer being trusted with the ball. So Connellsville's going to get down to the Colonial 10-yard line awfully quickly here as we have a 1st and 10. Took him about a minute to gain 15 yards, which is pretty good efficiency. Hands off the ball. Desai is met pretty quickly by the Colonial defense. He's down to about the 8-yard line.
The Falcons are cycling out backs very well, and keeping them well rested. I mean, you're not
Especially
running the
with-
same guy over and over and over and over. When you have two guys that are options, you take the workload off of each other, and it just makes them better.
Especially with that balanced attack, too, Tommy. I mean, your receivers, sure, they got to block every play, hopefully
Yeah.
block every play. And, you know, they run their routes, but it's a lot different catching that ball and trying to take off than it is just kind of running down the field. Mayer, first shot to the end zone, in and out of the hands of his receiver once again. Now that's Rogers again. I believe that was the
It's a
receiver
second
down
drop,
on the
yeah.
on the last possession. That was
And that should have been a touchdown.
I would say that was, I mean, like we said, things are a little different up here than down there, but that did not look like a very difficult ball to reel in.
No.
He definitely had the space. Mayer placed the ball, I mean,
Perfectly.
Rogers had his hands up near his shoulder line, which is a shade high, but some guys prefer that. And he put it right about at his hands. It didn't look like Rogers had to
The throw was where it
strain
had to
himself. Absolutely. 3rd and 9 from the 9 of the Falcons. Connellsville trying to do something here, answer the Albert Gallatin touchdown that we had 2 or 3 drives ago. Mayer back, faces a Colonial rush. They're going to bring him down
be. Wow,
again.
that's big.
They're going to bring him down again
And holding on to the ball, number 60,
as the rain starts to fall once again here.
Looks like a field goal unit may be coming out.
You know, Tommy, I took some time to look at MaxPreps.com. They give a breakdown of any high school football team that you search. You know, Max Preps, Connellsville High School, Max Preps, Albert Gallatin High School, whatever you may be. Connellsville's not afraid to kick some field goals. They've had some, you know, they've been in the Colonial shoes roughly most of the season where they've only had 3 points, but that just shows that they have an effective kicker here as the kick is back. Snap's good. Kick is no good. No good from the kick. That did not look like maybe a poor hold. Maybe
Yeah.
the kicker was not comfortable. It looked like he missed that.
The rain's
wide
starting
left.
to pick up again.
The
That may
rain's
have been
starting
a
to pick up
factor.
again. Wide left, so the Colonials catch a real big break after they fumble that ball away.
You can't have another turnover, though.
They cannot.
I mean, you had a touchdown dropped in the end zone. I mean, that's lucky enough, let alone a missed field goal from what? The 15-yard line?
Oh,
maybe?
that's roughly a, I'd say 23-yard
Yeah.
field goal at the very most.
So you just
So
got to count your blessings.
We're at the 20-yard line, so that would have been about a 35-yard field goal. Or
It definitely
excuse
seemed
me, a
like they were
27.
further up.
Yeah, 27 is what I meant to say, but I agree with that. Maybe some kind of penalty that we did
I was
not
going to
catch.
say, it definitely.
Yeah, I believe they were down to the 10.
That's what I
I
thought.
believe they were down to their 10, 9, something like that. But
Regardless, here we are.
regardless of what the Falcons did, the Colonials are going to have a 2nd and 10 from their 20-yard line. And if anything, Tommy, I mean, you're winning the game, you're at home. We have 3 minutes and 27 seconds left on the clock for the second quarter. If you're not going to take the ball down the field, try to run out that clock.
Yeah.
Try to run out that clock,
And
get to the
you
locker
wonder
room.
why you wouldn't want to try to drive down the field with 3 minutes
Absolutely.
left.
But if anything, give
Just
that
sit
defense
on
a
it,
break.
yeah.
Sit on it. Let them get to the, let them get in the locker room. Give that defense a break because
But what's sad, Robbie, is what you said about giving the defense a break. Half the defense is on offense.
well, that's true. That's true. The Colonials do not carry any players. I'm looking at a roster right now, and they only carry 39.
And that was
players.
preseason.
That was preseason, not to mention injuries, not to mention kids that may not have the opportunity to be playing anymore. So the Colonials, I mean, I'm looking over at that sideline. Colonials have 11 men on the field. Not a whole lot of guys
I
over
would say
there.
maybe like 15 on the sideline.
Not a whole lot of guys over there. Plus, you got to account for how many people are coaches over there. So Albert Gallatin's going to face a 3rd and 17 after that play was completely busted by the Falcon defense. Clock's running with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left until halftime. Colonials up 7-0. Moody's going to snap the ball, drop back for a pass. He's going to release the ball a little bit behind his receiver. Robinson tried to stop himself to take a step back and get that ball, but his momentum carried him the other way. Just nowhere to go on that one. Nowhere to go. So Albert Gallatin's going to punt the ball once again, holding on to that 7-0 lead. 2 minutes and 9 seconds left until the second quarter.
And this is a concern for the Colonials right here. This is a bad spot to be in.
And that's an even worse spot to be in. That's either going to be a touchdown Falcons or that's a touchdown out Connellsville.
Wow.
That I don't know what the issue is, what issues this long snapper is having this evening, but
he's been high all night.
It's been high all night, and it just cost the Colonials 7 points. 6 points, I should say, barring the extra point.
And you feel bad for Nate Sutton because there's nothing he can do.
Absolutely. I mean he goes to, you can't fall on the ball.
No.
Because then it's a safety.
And it's 5 yards behind you to begin with. I mean,
yes.
To catch up to it alone is tough.
Absolutely. As we take a moment here, we have an injured Falcon. We'll get you a name as soon as he's done being tended to. But yeah, Albert Gallatin just playing incredible on defense. They had that fantastic offensive drive, and a high snap cost them a touchdown.
Yep. Special teams, and it's strange. You wonder, and we don't get to see the day in, day out. What's different with the special teams now compared to 8 weeks ago when? Not to sound like this, but that was their only solid point we were taking away game in, game out. That special teams was good. Special teams
were these 45-yard returns, these 70-yard kicks, these not high snaps.
Yeah. I mean, the past 3 games, Nate Sutton has had no time to punt the ball.
And that's, I would say I was more nervous. You brought up the point that you were nervous. I mean, the last time he went to punt the ball, he was just completely swarmed. I mean, his mobility saved a blocked punt. And, I mean, if he can't get his hands on it, and
it's an injury concern. I mean, there have been at least 2 times tonight where he's been in harm's way.
Absolutely. The Crumb is the injured Falcon on the field, able to walk off on his own power, so that's something that you always want to see.
And this is a big extra point here, especially for a kicker that missed roughly a 25-yarder. I think that's conservative.
We'll call it a 25.
Yeah.
We'll call it a 25.
He's missed one within, 2 minutes? So, I mean,
no
4 minutes maybe?
Yeah. It was not long enough ago that it shouldn't still be in his head. We'll see what they can do here. As the Colonials line up for a little defense. Could be a fake field goal here for Connellsville.
Yeah, definitely trying some trickery, at least with the formation.
Their formations, they put I think every man but the holder and the kicker has moved so far in the pre-snap. That kick is up. That kick's going to be good. So, just like that, 7-7. 2 minutes and 1 second left until halftime.
And that was a mental mistake. That wasn't lack of talent so much. It was more of a mental lapse. And
this Colonial defense is playing lights out, just absolutely lights out. And one issue on special teams has just tied the game.
Yep. And it also goes back to your offense not being able to produce. I mean, the reason you're backed up is it's
that too. I mean,
4th and 17. I mean,
yes, the Colonials have had just as many shots as the Falcons have. Colonials just able to capitalize on one of those shots, but I mean, they've had to run at least 6 or 7 drives both ways.
And the Colonials have had some decent drives where they're getting 30 yards, 40 yards, but it's taken to the next level to where you get into the red zone compared to just being around midfield, because midfield, that's a tricky spot to be in, because then do we go for it on 4th down?
Yes.
Where when you're on the say 30-yard line, then we're going for it.
Anywhere say inside of the 45 in a game like this. Now your own 40 or your opponent's 45 rather, not your own 45.
Yeah.
I would say it's worth considering.
Yeah.
Now if you're down to the 30, like you said, I mean we saw Connellsville go for a 4th and 19.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a factor.
And both teams now would. I mean, the Falcons. Do they have a win, Robbie? I don't know.
They have 2.
They have 2.
They defeated Uniontown, I know for sure, and I have to fact check the second team. I believe it was Plum.
So the big thing is they both teams know what's at stake. I mean, they're playing for pride. I mean, the Colonials.
I'll tell you what. Coming from somebody that played for Albert Gallatin, is we have a decent return there by the Colonials. Now, coming from somebody that suited up and played for Albert Gallatin and went through a season with 0 wins and then was able to see 1 win, big difference.
Yeah.
Big difference.
And especially on senior night, it'd be nice for them to close out their career. Because this group of seniors, I'm trying to think, they may have 1 win under their belt in 4 years. 1 or 3
I know.
maybe.
I played 3 sports here at Albert Gallatin. I played football, basketball, and track and field, and I had less than 5 for all 3 sports.
Wow.
Yeah. I'd say 3, if that.
So these seniors who have been here all 4 years, it would be big to close out your career with a win.
Oh, it would be huge. It would be huge. Albert Gallatin has another fumble, able to recover deep in the backfield.
Make something out of it.
Make
too.
a little something out of it.
Torrey Robinson's had a decent game, and I think
he's been very aware.
It's a sneaky good game.
Yes.
I mean, obviously he has a touchdown, so I mean it's not that much of a shock, but the little stuff he's able to make something out of nothing.
He was able to be smart, pay attention, hold on to that. I believe he recovered another fumble earlier in the game as the clock rolls here for the Colonials. 1:16 left in the half, 7-7. Going to be 2nd and 16 after that busted play. Tommy, we line up on the opponent's sideline on here. I'm watching DeCrum for the Falcons run back and forth up the sideline, looking like he's trying to get loose. So looks like he might be okay for the rest of the game, as there's just no coverage for Moody.
No.
Not able to get out of that one.
Connellsville definitely has, I would say, a size advantage.
I would say so too, without a doubt. I mean, 6'6" for Mayer, their quarterback, is
that alone
probably
is impressive.
half a foot taller than the next Colonial.
Connellsville takes a timeout.
Dylan Shea is listed at 6'2", it looks like.
I have for Connellsville. Now I'm just rolling through here real quick. I have Cade Thomas at 6'1". I have Caleb Russell at 6'1". Jalen Rogers 6'2". Joshua Mayer, as we said, 6'6".
And the weight
Moore
too.
is 6'2". Coons is 6'2". Connor's 6'1". Their running backs are over 6 feet
I mean, you
tall.
have a guy in Colin Lynch, 257 pounds. That's a good size for a high school football player.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got. If it's Connor and Mayer in the backfield, you got 6'6" and 6'1".
You have Braden Mullen at 363 pounds.
Wow.
Number 79. We can see him right down
He's
there.
right down there.
Yep.
Yeah. Wow. That's a big guy. So we have 53 seconds left till the half. Colonials with a 3rd and 23. Going to be a toss out to the right side for the offense. Still on his feet.
Carrying the ball, number 25, Torrey Robinson.
Robinson's going to be the man on the call. Tried to turn something out of nothing, but you can only go so far on a 3rd and 23.
We got 4th down for the Colonials.
So we're going to have 40 seconds left. 40 seconds left. Colonials are going to have to punt the ball. They're on their own 18-yard line. It's going to be a 4th and 17. Well, they're either going to go into the half with a tie game or they're going to go to half losing.
I was going to say, and this is not a good spot for the Colonials. I mean, they saw what happened last time when they were around this same situation. So, I can't see the clock, Robbie. I don't know if you can.
Yes, I
maybe
can
spot
see
me on
the
the
clock.
time.
There's 40 seconds left.
So 40 seconds. I mean, not to sound like this, but with the special team struggling, do you just run it and hope that your defense could hold?
It's an option. It's an option, but I see Nathan Sutton out there getting ready to
Do you
take
run a
punt
fake
here.
maybe?
You could. You could. Now, I was going to bring that up. You could run the fake. Let's see what this long snapper can do here. Still a shade high, but not as bad, obviously. A very high pop-up for Nate Sutton, and that's going to take a Falcon bounce. The Colonials able to stop it around the 31-yard line. So we're down to 36 seconds in a tie game, which is something we haven't been able to say all season here at Albert Gallatin.
Yeah.
Other than 0-0.
Does Connellsville try one last quick strike? I think they have one timeout left. Does that sound right?
Connellsville has one. Connellsville has no timeouts left. Actually, I believe I thought they had one too, but they snuck it in there. So Connellsville, I would take some shots.
I would say with a quarterback like Mayer, I'm letting him try at least.
He's going to roll out to the left, going to throw a ball incomplete. Now, Tommy, you have 4 downs to play with. You're on the 30-yard line. I'm going to take at least 2 shots.
For sure. I mean, especially if you're a kicking team.
Yes.
Try to get in field goal range.
I'm going to take at least 2 shots because it's going to stop the clock. I don't have any timeouts, so it can still stop the clock. Now, if it gets to a 3rd down,
that's when you have
I'd be willing to run it just to keep the clock
moving.
But
the Colonials, how many timeouts do they have? I'm sorry, everyone.
2.
I can't see the
scoreboard. Colonials have 2.
So Colonials could stop the clock there, and if they really want to try to get the ball back.
Going to have a roll out to the left once again. Looked like a little bit of an option play by Mayer. That's going to be a very close call. I think
definitely
he was out.
I thought he had 1 foot in, though.
I don't know, Tommy. It looked like he stepped right on that line. It was tough. But very.
So here's your point, Robbie. What do they do here?
Well, you have 21 seconds left. It's tough with the Colonials having 2 timeouts. But with 21 seconds left in a tie game, do they use those timeouts? I'd say run a draw right here, right up the middle. Let the clock start rolling, see what the Colonials are going to do to counteract that.
I mean, the whole thing is you get to restart with 3 timeouts next half.
Absolutely. It's worth burning them, but it just depends on if they want to take that into the locker room. As Mayer drops back, nearly sacked again. He's going to run up the right sideline and smartly out of bounds.
Yep. And now you're looking at a 40-yard field goal roughly. So.
Yeah. 12 seconds left. Going to be a 4th down for the Falcons. Didn't quite get there, but Tommy, looks like it's going to be another 4th and inches kind of situation. Yep. It's going to be 4th and 1 from the 21 of the Colonials.
If I'm the Falcons, I'm throwing the ball, trying to do maybe a corner route here or there, try to get around the 10-yard line, have enough time to send your kicking team out and
either that,
throw one up to try to go in half with the lead.
Either that or try to roll as Mayer takes the snap. It's going to be a quick handoff, and he's going to be stopped pretty quickly. But
and here they're going to try to spike the ball.
They're going to try to spike the ball. 6.7 seconds left. He does get the first down, 4.9 seconds. Now, the clock stops whenever there is a first down in high school here, so that was what the delay was for
Here comes
the
field goal unit.
I don't disagree here for the
Mayer
Falcons.
staying on the field, though, so keep an eye on that. I mean,
we will keep an eye on that. He's getting into the holder's position, but he could pretty easily, if the Falcons can get some containment, he could pretty easily pop up and launch a ball. It wouldn't take much being 6'6".
Especially if you have an overly aggressive Colonial unit here who's going all in to try to block it, and the Colonials are going to call a timeout.
Colonials are going to ice the Falcons' field goal kicker here with 4.9 seconds left. Now, Tommy, it's at the 17-yard line here. So that's going to put this at roughly a 34-yard field goal. That's pretty hefty for a high school kicker. Colonials trying to perhaps make Connellsville think about that field goal miss that they had earlier in the game, try to get in their head a little bit.
This would be huge if the Falcons can capitalize on this. And
if the Falcons can make this, they didn't play a very good first half.
And there's no harm in kicking this field goal, in my opinion. There's no – if you miss it, you know what?
If you miss it, you're tied.
It is what it is, yeah.
You're tied at the half if you miss it. Not a big deal. Blocked by the Colonials. That's a live ball.
That's huge.
That is huge, and that is going to run out the clock for the halftime. And just like that, Colonials have momentum right back. We're running into the locker rooms with a tie ball game.
And that's huge. And we have a down Colonial, though, it looks like. And that's going to be big. It looked like could be Dylan Shea. It looked like that's who jumped on the fumble, and that's who's down. I can't tell for sure, but I thought it was Dylan Shea originally.
Tough to tell, Tommy. Everybody ran to the locker room so quickly.
But aside from the injury, that was the play of the year for the Colonials.
That was the play you needed. Well, he's
getting up.
He is getting up here. It does appear to be Dylan Shea.
And that's going to be big for the Colonials. Hopefully he's all right, can go for a second half. But
absolutely,
by far making the biggest impact on this game, aside from maybe Torrey Robinson, you could make the argument. But on defense, for sure, he's been a force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. But, Tommy, we'll dive back into it as soon as we come back for hopefully a great second half here, as great as the first half. Your score at halftime, AG 7 and Connellsville 7. We'll be right back with the Albert Gallatin Marching Band on AGTV Sports and Fayette TV, Channel 77, and on AGTVSports.com.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'll have to go to the restroom, so maybe that night. Is that your Heck yeah, it's $2
They didn't tell me that. They said,
What did they call it?
Chaz Gibson, and auxiliary instructor Amber Hildar. The drum majors for this season are Ramona Thompson and Nathaniel Gibson. This show features some of our staff members' favorite pop songs. Tonight you will hear 24 Karat Magic, the greatest in 5x5, with a percussion feature performed by the fabulous AGHS Drumline.
We have the winning number on the 50-50 ticket, the blue ticket, for $73. Six.
Welcome back to York Run Stadium for tonight's game. We have Albert Gallatin and Connellsville in a complete grudge match right now, 7-7, as we get ready to head into the third quarter. Now, Albert Gallatin, just a recap, was able to score on about a 35-yard passing play from Moody to Torrey Robinson. Robinson been a very busy man for the Colonials. Connellsville's only score of the game despite a blocked field goal and a missed field goal, which could potentially have the Falcons at a 13-7 advantage. Connellsville's only score came off of a high snap to the punter of Albert Gallatin. Nathan Sutton couldn't corral it in the end zone. Connellsville ends up diving on it, getting a touchdown. The Colonial defense has not given up a point here. They have looked
very good,
double the best they have all season. And Tommy, it's extremely frustrating for it to be 7-7 and your defense be playing that well. But with the way this game's going, if Albert Gallatin can put up a nice scoring drive like they did earlier in the game, they're in a real nice position here if the defense plays with that same intensity to close out the season with a win here.
One thing that's going to be something to watch for both teams, how do they adjust what they did in the first half to try to not make it. For example, Connellsville had a good offense, but they were never able to it looked like when they needed to get a third down, they just couldn't get it. How do they adjust to where they're not struggling to get first downs? How they're able to slowly, methodically move down the field? And how are the Colonials
How do the Colonials contain Mayer back there in the back?
Contain Mayer. More offense is never bad for the Colonials. And how do you not let special teams keep hurting you? I mean, that's why this isn't a 7-0 game.
Absolutely. The Colonials, there's no question about it. It's a 7-0 ball game. They just let the ball get away from them in the wrong spot, and that's what happens when you make errors like that. But they were able to, I guess, get in the head of a Connellsville field goal whenever the Falcons really just the Falcons kicker just did not connect on that field goal. It was a very wide left ball. It's tough to explain other than just a poor attempt. And then obviously
it wasn't a shank, but it was.
It wasn't a shank. It was up off of the ground, just not close. It looked like I'm sure the weather. I mean, now as the rain has stopped once again, it's been a very odd evening for the weather.
It's almost like most of the time when you're kicking a field goal, you want to hit the lower center of the ball. It was almost like he hit the top center of the ball.
Yes.
Or more like the center of the ball, I should say.
He got it in the air.
Yeah, he got it in the air. It just wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't control. And it didn't have like a lofting trajectory. It was more of just like a linear, just right out of the foot.
And then obviously the blocked field goal that the Falcons had going into the half. There was 4 seconds left on the clock whenever it was
that was huge
kicked.
for the Colonials.
That was huge for the Colonials. Now even bigger here, the Colonials going to receive the ball here. Tommy, if the Colonials, like we just said, as the Falcons have a nice kick there, ball's returned to the left side, outrunning a couple defenders up to about the 20-yard line.
Torrey Robinson, like you said earlier, keep him busy, keeping the Colonials in.
Keep him busy.
He's been the drive of the offense, and complimenting him on offense is Dylan Shea on defense.
Absolutely. Now, Tommy, the Colonials, they get a return here. Say they go down and score, which is obviously your goal every drive. They go down and score here. The way this game is gone, that might be all they need.
Yeah.
If they can hold Connellsville, because really, like we said, it's 7-0. Unfortunately for the mistake, makes it 7-7. But hey, a tie game is much better than where they have been. As Moody lines up under center here for the Colonials' first play, man in motion. Going to hand off to the first man in the backfield. That play's going nowhere. So Connellsville definitely was ready for that.
That was Cole DuPont with the running. I mean,
DuPont
he was done before he even got in.
He's having a very hard time this evening. Very hard time. I don't know if he's had a positive run this evening. So that's going to back the Colonials up just a couple yards, 3 yards. Second down at 13, so no need to panic just yet.
Yep.
See what Albert Gallatin has going on for this for the second down play.
The passing game was decent for the Colonials the first half. Maybe they look to it and try to build off of that a bit.
Absolutely. Moody puts that man in motion again. Going to draw back for a pass, little lob pass. It's completed to DuPont. He's got some running room. Not going to be quite a first down, but not a bad play.
That wasn't bad at all.
He had a rough time corralling it at first, but he did a very good job of staying focused and getting that ball under control.
You can tell the Colonials aren't used to passing the ball.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it definitely shows that they are a running-based team and that opening up the playbook, even though it's been successful, they've had the hiccups because when you don't do it for 9 weeks, it's tough to catch it, especially with this weather.
Especially with this weather, as I mentioned, the rain had stopped a few minutes ago, but here's everybody putting the umbrellas back up because we're back to a downpour. Colonial's going to run the 3rd and 8 play on their own 23, going to pass it again. That Connellsville pressure is contained. Moody with a nice throw.
And that was a good block by Cole DuPont, because if you saw that Moody was a sitting duck and there was a defender coming in, Cole DuPont picked that rusher in perfectly, had a nice block, gave Moody time, and found the open receiver in the middle of the field.
Absolutely, and Angelo Doyle down there, his last option. Angelo Doyle had a great catch in the first half, set up that touchdown drive. Very good catch once again, as Albert Gallatin has a fresh set of downs here. Moody's going to snap the ball for another handoff. Contained once again. A little bit of something out of nothing, maybe back to the line of scrimmage. No more than a yard or two as the clock continues to roll here. We're all the way into the 3rd quarter now with 9 minutes and 22 seconds.
The rain's definitely starting to pick up now.
You know it's picking up when the Connellsville cheerleaders down here diving under the umbrellas. Albert Gallatin going to run the 2nd and 9 play from their own 34-yard line. Tommy, they got to keep this drive moving. I need to see the Colonials in the end zone.
Keep passing the ball. Keep passing the ball.
It's going to be a handoff for Moody, and there's a nice little run torn off. Couple yards after contact. Cole DuPont. There's a nice run for Cole DuPont as we get into the 3rd quarter. He's a guy hasn't been having the greatest game, but he's absolutely, as you can tell on that run, he hasn't given up by any means because he just turned a 2nd and 9 into a 3rd and 1 for the Colonials, much more manageable.
And the big thing with DuPont, if you give him 2 or 3 yards to pick up momentum, that's where you're getting the 5-yard gain.
He's definitely a power runner.
But he's not power out of the gate. It's more
he's not explosive, but he's
runner.
Power as we have a flag probably in the area of offsides right before the snap of the ball. But as you were saying, Tommy, DuPont is not he's more like a fullback kind of style.
Yeah.
He's not quick out of the gate, but he'll carry a couple guys.
I'd like to see him do an I formation with him at fullback.
Absolutely.
And Torrey Robinson possibly a running back.
Yeah.
See what you could do with having him steal a block, because he's an aggressive player, big body, able to block. I mean, we saw previously on this drive, he's able to put down a block. Let him lead for Robinson. See what you can get on the outside.
Absolutely. And Tommy, just like the first half, Connellsville costing themselves with a penalty, giving the Colonials another first down as they hand off to the right side of the field. There's a hole. Robinson's gone once again. He's down to the 20, 15, 10, 5. He shakes the last man. He's in for the touchdown. Colonials have scored once again with 7:47 left in the third quarter.
The legs of Torrey Robinson.
Touchdown. That was an incredible run.
53 yards and the Colonial score.
He definitely has the moves to get open.
13, Thomasville 7.
He made people miss, and
Absolutely.
I mean, once he got through that first layer, I mean, speed kills.
He found that hole. I couldn't have even walked through that hole, and he took off. Once he made it through that hole, he was gone. And we're sitting over on the Colonialsville sideline here, Tommy, and it got pretty quiet real quick as the extra point is up. The extra point for the Colonials is good. We have a 14-7 Colonial lead with 7:47 left in the third quarter, and that's exactly what the Colonials
It doesn't get much better than that. I mean, solid drive, and as you mentioned before, Collinsville, though, had them.
Absolutely,
and
they had them. They had them.
Penalties and stupid mistakes.
Now, that's not saying, the penalty, it's third down and 1. That's not saying they wouldn't have picked it up.
Yeah, it wasn't like it was 3rd and 20. I mean,
absolutely,
it was 3rd and very, very manageable. But if you don't give yourself a chance to stop them on 3rd down, then you're not giving yourself the chance to get the ball back with a struggling special teams unit out on the field.
Now, they're on 3rd and 1. Now, there's nothing saying that they wouldn't have got that first down, but there's nothing saying that Connersville wouldn't have stopped them 10 yards deep in the backfield.
And, I mean,
Connellsville set them up to score, and that's exactly what they did. Is Connellsville set them up to score in the first quarter. They capitalized on Connellsville's mistakes.
And the big thing with Connellsville,
in the lead.
You definitely want to see the Colonial punt unit out there.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, you would almost rather see the punt unit out than them go on 4th down.
If you're in blue and white, and you see that punting unit coming out, you're getting real excited. Colonial's going to go ahead and kick off to the Falcons after their touchdown. Now there's a nice kick, better than what we've seen this evening. Maybe getting used to the weather. Nice contact, bringing the Connellsville return to a halt at about the 29-yard line.
And that was good. That was good defense. I mean, it wasn't spectacular, but you didn't allow for a big run off of a
absolutely. I mean, sure, the Falcons are starting off at their own 30-yard line, which is fairly good starting field position, but that ball only went to about the 18-yard line or so. That was great containment. Mayer's going to put the man in motion. He's handing off to the right side, and he's got some room, but he is met very quickly by the Colonial defense.
This defense is going to be the reason they win this game.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Tackle made by number 7,
Azai is with the carry for Connellsville, just as busy as Robinson, just doesn't have as many touchdowns on the board.
Because for as good as the Colonials have been on offense, especially with Torrey Robinson, this defense has not given up a point. I mean, and that's a big deal.
Defense wins the game.
Yep.
Defense wins the game. Defense is opening up these opportunities for the offense. Offense capitalizes. That's all you can hope for. Azai is back in motion. Mayer's going to snap the ball. He's going to hand it off there. Once again, a couple yards on that play, but met pretty quickly.
Gavin Connor.
Big 3rd down for Colonial's defense.
Absolutely. This is huge. This is a real big one.
Because this really isn't 4th down territory. I mean, the Falcons aren't afraid to go for it in their own territory.
The Falcons aren't afraid to go for it, but
always placed at the 35-yard line of Connellsville.
This would be pretty bold to go.
I would say, especially in a one-score game.
3rd and 5 from the Connellsville 35-yard line.
Wide receivers spread out, too.
Mayer snaps the ball from the shotgun. He's almost met in the backfield, and that's an incomplete pass.
Pass is incomplete, intended for number 12, Jalen Rogers.
Now, Rogers, though he was open, that was a little bit ahead of him that time.
Yeah, I'm not going to put the blame on him for that.
No, I will not put the blame on him for that. Mayer, your team just let a pretty big run off you. He could be a little shaken.
Yep.
Now, the Connellsville punt unit is on the field. It's a 4th and 5 from the 35.
And back to receive the punt, number 24. Christian Stone, and that's the return guy.
Absolutely,
first
yeah.
half.
Yes. Now this is kind of the area, Tommy, especially the later the game gets, though we didn't see at that time, fake punts.
Yeah.
Fake punts, fake whatever is going to get more and more prominent as it gets later in the game, especially if the Colonials hold the lead as the Albert Gallatin takes the ball back over with 6:03 left in the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to the fourth quarter,
If
not,
you
not
get-
so much in the third, but fourth quarter where you have a little bit of desperation, but you're not obviously desperate, that's where you get these types of
Absolutely.
plays.
Now, if you get, let's say you get into the fourth quarter, let's say it's 6:03 in the fourth quarter opposed to the third quarter, I'm not going to be shocked if Connellsville would run a fake play with only 5 yards to go if
Yeah.
they're going to hand the ball back over, because plenty of teams have run it against Albert Gallatin already this season. Pretty effective. It's pretty effective.
The Colonial offense, it's going to be interesting to see how they play this too, because they are starting to pass the ball, and it's opening up the run game. It's plain as day.
Absolutely. As Moody drops back, doesn't see anything, he's just going to fall forward for the couple yards that he
Holding
can
on the ball,
get.
quarterback keeper number 11, Braden Moody.
I felt like he should have maybe given a little more time to see if the wide receivers were
Yeah,
going to
he
get
pretty
open.
immediately was ready to run.
But we
so
don't know. I mean, maybe
It could have
the
been some
plays,
kind of option.
maybe there's only one place for the ball to go in
He
that
could
situation.
have. He could have. It could have been like a triple
If you wanna
option.
play,
Maybe he
brings
could
up
have
second
handed it
down
off.
and
Didn't do it. Only had
Ball
one
placed at the
receiver. Didn't
23
do it. So he
yard
takes off.
Yeah.
Which would be your third off.
And I mean, it wasn't a bad play. I mean, it was a positive play. But
No, 2nd and 8 from the 23-yard line. Moody back under center. Going to have that motion man. He's going to hand it off pretty quickly. Looked like to DuPont from up here, who was met quickly by the Falcon defense.
it looks like the spot, though, is very generous for him.
Might have given him a little forward progress. Actually going to lose a yard. 3rd and 9 from the Colonial 22.
And number 16, Josh Mayer.
I wish it was a little
Third
more
down and 9
generous.
for the
Yeah,
Colonials
yeah.
on their own 22-yard line.
Now, something interesting I just picked out. Mayer playing as a safety as
Yeah,
well as
I do see that.
quarterback.
And I don't think we've seen that previously.
I have not seen that. Now, I've seen some teams come in here where they have multiple quarterbacks, where sometimes they'll run one guy will throw a couple passes, one guy will throw a couple runs. They'll split up the monotony. But Mayer, he's the starting quarterback. He's playing at safety currently. When the Falcons take back over, he will be quarterback once again. So hasn't left the field. Now, as far as punting goes, I have not noticed. I'll keep an eye
he was
out.
actually on the.
Was he on the
yeah,
punt?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was on the punt. He was on offense. He was on defense. I saw him. He was a holder for that field goal.
He's the Swiss Army knife
This
of the
guy,
Falcons.
aside from the kickoff and the kick return, has not left the field. And we've seen like McKeesport come in here, which is a top 30, 40 or so team in the state. And I haven't seen somebody as versatile as
No.
Mayer is down there for Connellsville.
And just a little side note, not to distract from what you're saying, we could talk about Mayer further, but the Colonials there were trying to draw an offsides, and it was almost like they didn't have a plan B if they didn't draw them offsides.
Absolutely, yeah, that can happen sometimes. It did work earlier in the game. They did draw the Falcons offsides.
Uh-oh.
And on the handoff,
You would-
number 24,
You would
Christian
think that the
Stone.
Falcons were offsides on that play just
Yeah.
based upon how many people were in the backfield, but
Tackle man
And
by number
this is the trouble
59,
spot. Last time the Colonials were in this situation,
Tyler Metzger.
Falcons got 6.
Falcons got 6. It's raining awfully hard here
And a
at
fourth
York
down
Run
and 12 for the
Stadium.
Colonials
And that's
on
a-
their 19-yard line.
Looks like Nate's son is doing a shallow. He's very shallow for punting
He
the
does
ball.
appear to be quite shallow. I would back up at least another
Yeah, I was
couple
gonna say, that's
yards.
But hey, that was a good snap.
Snaps on point, ball's up and away. That's all we can ask for right now.
That's surprising, being how fast the Falcons were getting there when he was 10, 15 yards back, compared to only being a 5-yard.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's funny how that stuff works, but
I mean, I guess if the ball's getting there quicker, yeah.
absolutely, yeah. I mean, Nate Sutton gets the ball up. Nice punt, takes a Colonial bounce. Falcons are going to start the ball on their own 48-yard line now. They need 2 yards to get it on the Colonial side of the field. So
AGTV Sports.
definitely not terrible field position
No.
to start, but they have to take on the biggest nightmare they've had all day in the Colonial defense to move the ball.
And touching on Mayer, he is definitely the leader of this team.
Absolutely, as he
Quarterback keeper number
keeps the
16,
ball there.
Josh Mayer.
Going to be very close to a first down. Probably going to come up to be about 2nd and 2.
Tackle made by number
And I
71,
noticed,
Colby
He's
Moreno,
just about
and
the
number
spot's
8,
going to be
Bruno
just about even with us. We're on about the 45-yard line that the referee is currently standing on.
I noticed with Mayer when he was on defense, I don't know if the people at home watching noticed this,
For Connellsville, ball placed at the
he,
45-yard line.
even though I didn't notice him originally on the defense in the first half, but he was taking lead, telling guys who they needed to watch.
Oh, I did
you,
notice
you
that. I
can't,
noticed that
you
myself.
can't teach that.
Here's another run by Mayer. It's going to be a keeper. He's going to turn something out of nothing for sure.
And on the keeper again, number 16, Josh Mayer.
The Falcons, excuse me, are on a drive here, and it's all behind Josh Mayer as he's kept the ball twice and will give Connellsville a first down.
And 13 on the play brings up first down.
3:08 left in the third quarter, 14-7 Colonial lead. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Falcons on the Colonial 32-yard line, trying to tie it up once again. Hopefully for their offense this time, because the Falcon offense nor the Falcon special teams has put any points on the board as Mayer keeps it once again.
And that's surprising because the Falcon offense hasn't looked bad.
The Falcon offense is, Mayer's been incredible. He's very impressive. He's thrown some good passes.
And they've had
some
bigger
good
plays.
receptions. They've had some nice runs. They've had good plays all around.
It's just they can't finish a drive.
Absolutely, yeah. They've just, if you're starting on your 30-yard line, you get 10 yards, 5 yards, 7 yards. Hold. Well, that's it. That's only get you about the 50-yard line.
And the Colonial defense has stepped up on second and third down, really.
Absolutely. So 2nd down here for the Falcons. Mayer nearly taken down in the backfield. That's going to be a pass interference flag. That's going to be a pass interference flag.
Number 21 on the coverage. Let me see who that was on my roster. Angelo Doyle.
He's had some excellent receptions, but a pass interference call in this stage of the game is going to hurt. But it could. Let's see, maybe the Falcons had a push-off or something. Doyle patting himself on the chest as if to say, my bad.
Yeah.
So
And then we have a holding call against the defense.
that's going to be only a holding call. So 2:55 left in the third quarter.
And if you're Connellsville with that little time left in this quarter, you don't hit the panic button, obviously. I mean, it's a one-score game and you're driving, but
Absolutely.
you want to score here. I mean, you definitely
You can't afford
to.
to not score here after getting this deep and then letting the Colonial score again.
because even if you get maybe down to the 10-yard line and it's 4th down and maybe like 4th and 5, you don't want to send your kicker out in these conditions.
Not a chance. The rain's coming down pretty hard.
And the
This is
Colonials already
probably-
blocked one field goal.
Absolutely. This is probably the hardest it's been raining the whole game. What we have now is Mayer takes another snap. He's going to hand that ball right off, and it's going to get tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Dylan Shea on the stop,
Carrying the
so
ball,
good to
number
see him
35,
back in the
Cody
game.
Stonebreaker.
That's a big part of Colonial defense.
Absolutely.
Gain of 2 yards on the play brings up 2nd down and 8 for Connellsville.
So 2nd and 8 for Connellsville, 2:34 and counting in the third quarter.
The Colonials.
Going to be at their 18-yard line, and this is where they've ran into some trouble with the Colonial defense. This is where the Colonial defense was able to stop them and block that field goal, roundabout where they are right now. Mayer back, fires a rocket out, and that
Low
was at
throw.
Rogers. That was at
Pass to
Rogers'
complete,
feet.
intended for number 12, Jalen
That
Ross.
He's
was
been
at
getting
his feet.
open, though. I mean, that's
Rogers is easily his favorite target.
Yep, for
I mean,
sure.
he's been targeted 6-7 times, but he might only have 2 catches.
Yeah, I mean, 2 drops and 2 or 3 passes that were just not on target. I mean,
He had 2 drops, 1 in the end zone. He had a pass at his feet. He had a pass overthrown. He had a pass thrown behind him. So that's 5.
but he's getting open. And
He's open, yeah.
if
that
you're the
was,
Colonials, you need to tighten up your defense. Say, hey, listen,
Yes.
this guy's going to be the guy that hurt us.
Absolutely. You need to tighten up your defense altogether if you're the Colonials, because this is probably the biggest third down of the game as they get excellent pressure on Mayer, and the defender falls. Going to allow Mayer to dump off the screen pass, and that's going to be close.
That was Braden Moody. He came through clean.
Tackle made by number 8.
That's
Just
gonna
got
be
tripped
close.
up on it. It almost looked like his own player.
I see the chain gang putting up the 4th down signal, and Connellsville, we don't have an official spot just yet.
4th down and 8 for the Falcons.
Ooh,
Fourth down, and it's 4th down and 4 for the Falcons.
field goal unit not going out from what it looks like. So they're going to
Mayer-
roll the dice.
Mayer running the ball, or Mayer running the play, and he can't run the ball in just yet.
And this is where conditions are playing a factor, because if it's a nice evening, you're sending your kicker out.
Absolutely. Biggest play of the game right here. Both sides. Mayer's back in the shotgun, snaps the ball. A lot of pressure coming down, and he's sacked. On the
Fumble.
4th down, and it's fumble.
I mean, it's not
Either
gonna make
way,
a
it's
difference,
Colonial
yeah.
ball on the 4th down.
Good. And if you're a Colonial, don't even wait for that ball. Get up, go to your sideline.
It's already signaled. Does not matter. It's Colonial ball.
And the Colonials hold on 4th down. They'll take over 1st and 10.
1st and 10, Colonials. Minute 14 left in the third quarter.
Tackle made by number 7,
14
Julius
to
Dawson
7,
on the
Albert
ball.
Gallatin.
And it's
leads.
getting me excited up here.
I'm very excited. This is just fun to watch. I was down there, and I know how it feels to go through these games where it's 70 to 0, 84 to 0. It hurts. It hurts really bad. And just to see them playing and to be successful like they are, and hopefully they can hold on. It just couldn't make me more excited.
And for anybody listening who has any influence on a school in the area about Whippeal, this is what you could have every week.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Moody takes the snap. Looked like it was a broken play from the start, but it's still going to run the clock down as we're approaching a minute left in the third quarter. Going to at least get the ball back to the line of scrimmage.
I'd throw the ball here.
I would throw the ball.
Yeah,
I would
for sure.
Hey, you're in the lead right now.
Yeah.
So
And your defense has been insanely good.
you have ran this game for 3 quarters straight.
Yep.
You do what you need to do right now.
And it doesn't have to be a long pass, but these short little dump-off passes have been very, very sufficient for the Colonials offense.
Absolutely. Moody under center. Going to put a man in motion. Looks like he confused the Connellsville defense a little bit. Going to throw to DuPont.
That was
Throw
a
for
good
negative
screen, but there
yards.
was one block miss there.
You gotta hope if you're gonna run a screen, you really gotta hope that defense is lined up in zone. And
They
that
weren't.
defense was lined up in man, and it showed. So the Colonials now with a third.
And loss of 5 on the play. brings up 3rd down and 15. That's the end of your third quarter. Your score remains Albert Gallatin.
Well, it does not matter with the 3rd and 15 play evolves to just yet, because that is the end of the third quarter. The Albert Gallatin Colonials lead the ball game after 3 quarters, 14-7 over the Connellsville Falcons.
And they're going to get the ball on, I believe, 3rd down.
They will have the ball. It'll be a 3rd down and 15 from their own 18-yard line.
This game is going to come down to the last series.
It's going to come down to the last series. The Colonials have ran it for 3 quarters, just one more quarter to get through. They have 12 minutes. 12 minutes to make or break.
And it'll be something to watch. If the Colonials burn that timeout early in the third quarter, how that's going to affect them coming into this fourth quarter, because it looks minute now, but it's very, very important
Absolutely.
that they burned a timeout through trying to, I don't know. They wanted to draw them off sides and just didn't have a play ready, it looked like.
Yeah, I noticed a couple plays down on that last, well, not the last drive, this current Colonial drive. Little out of sync. Yeah. So let's see what the 3rd and 15 play. The Colonials have managed to convert on a 3rd and 13.
Wow, sack by number 59 for Connellsville. I'll pull up his number, give the guy credit.
Absolutely.
59. We're looking at Tyler Metzger, a senior.
He's had a bit of a quiet game. He's been in on a couple plays, but he's flying around everywhere, especially for a guy now. Connellsville's very big, like we talked about. He don't have a lot of size, too.
No, he's 5'7".
Yeah, he's definitely one of the undersized guys, so massive amount of credit to him to get in and get that sack. That's huge for the Falcons as we have another high snap, a poor punt, even worse bounce, and that's bad news.
Yep.
This late in the
This
game.
is going to be the biggest test for the Colonials defense because you're already at a disadvantage. You're almost in field goal range. I mean, now you almost think that they have to think about taking the points in this situation if they're given the opportunity to try to take a field goal.
It's almost to a point where you have 11-15 left and Connellsville's going to be knocking on the door. Do they walk in so you can give yourself time to answer?
Yeah.
So the Falcons start their first drive of the fourth quarter, down 1 touchdown. They're starting on their own 26-yard line, or the Colonials' 26-yard line.
And just to say, this weather cannot set a better scene for this game.
Oh, I agree. Game in the rain.
Oh,
and
trickery.
there's a trick play.
Wow.
He's out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds, and the ref caught it. The ref did caught it.
And the catch today, pitch number 5.
There's our trick play that we talked about. It worked. I mean, it was so successful. The Colonials are lucky it wasn't a touchdown. But now the Falcons, after one play, are going to be first and goal from the 9.
What yard line would you think that's down at, Robbie? I'm having trouble.
Say that again?
What yard line are they
Where
on?
the Falcons are lining up. They're lining up from the 9-yard line.
9-yard line. So Colonials, this is the tightest they've been to their backs right now.
Yes,
so.
yes. This is probably the deepest that the Falcons have managed to get in as there's a handoff from Mayer. They're going to get even closer here on the first down run.
35, Bodie Stonebreaker.
Stonebreaker down to about the 5-yard line of the Colonials.
Colby Morano of the Colonials. Gain of 5 on the play, brings up second down and 4
for the Falcons here. The yard to gain is the goal line. The Falcons are down 1 touchdown. The Colonials have 2 more tries to keep them out. For the
Colonials need a turnover.
Absolutely. Mayer's back, snaps the ball. He's going to keep it, and he's unstoppable.
And that's only fitting that he's the one to run it in.
He's unstoppable when he keeps the ball. So the Falcons, with 10:22 to score, with 10:22 left in the fourth quarter, it's going to make this a 14-13 game, barring the extra point here. And Mayer is just unstoppable whenever he keeps that ball. He was wide open laying into the end zone.
And the Colonials, just a point to make going into them, in all likelihood, receiving the ball to have a drive to try to break the tie. If this is a good, there can always be a blocked extra point, and that would be huge for the Colonials here.
Absolutely. Well, that kick is up, and that is a perfect.
There was no doubt about that.
Unfortunately, the blocked field goal is not the case.
So the question is...
Oh, we do have a flag on the play.
Oh.
Well, there is a flag according to the referees and the PA announcer here, so we'll see what transpires out of this, if we can see at least if they point towards the Colonials or the Falcons.
As we wait for that, just your opinion, Robbie. So say the Colonials are slowly moving down the field, which they're known to do.
Yeah.
Eat a lot of clock. Say you have the ball 4th and 5 on your 15-yard line. Do you send Nate Sun out there who's 2 for 2 on extra points tonight?
Well, it depends for me how much clock I have left.
Yeah.
So at this point in the game, I'm probably going to go for it.
Go for 4th.
Probably going to go for it.
I mean, of course, this is all in theory, but
of course.
But it's a legitimate question.
Yes,
I mean,
I'm probably going to go for it if I'm on, like you said, the 15-yard line. That's 4th and 5. I'm probably going to go for it. Say I get the first down, then hopefully that leads to a touchdown. If I don't get it, then I have an outstanding defense.
That's true.
That would have to put on that would. I'd have an outstanding defense as far
And
as
I
tonight
can't see the Falcons driving 85
The Falcons
yards.
would have to put on an 85-yard drive against a defense where they just scored their first offensive points on a quarterback keeper on a guy that's been extremely hard to contain. Plus, they started that drive on the 26-yard
so
line.
I mean,
So I'm probably going to go for it if
you
it
think
would
we'll
come
see an
down to
onside
that.
kick here?
We definitely could. We definitely could.
It's wet out. That ball's slippery.
They ran a trick play the first play.
And the penalty. So
yeah.
here we go.
Well, that's a pretty hefty penalty.
Yeah, I don't know what could have warranted that, but
I'm not entirely sure either. It was a flag thrown on the extra point kick.
and it was late. It was a late flag.
It was a late flag by the Falcons. They were running some kind of, at least to try to get in the Colonials' head here. Now the Falcons have ran a pretty orthodox kickoff formation as here they go to spread out. It even throws us off.
Point.
Yeah, it even
or
throws
onside kick.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Now this is what the Falcons have been running all game. They cluster up there to try to get in the head of somebody, and that ball's going to bounce.
I don't understand that at all.
Well, it's just.
I wouldn't try to sell it into the end zone like that.
Oh, I try to drop it about the 10-yard line. I try to like a high pop out.
And that ball was definitely driven. That wasn't. I mean,
yeah, that was a nice
driven
kick.
out of
That was a
bounds.
nice kick. Cardinalsville's had some nice kicks, and that was definitely one of them.
So here we go. Can the Colonials put on a?
Let's see if the Colonials can
drive.
do what they did coming into the third quarter.
They have the time.
10:18 left in the fourth quarter. We have a tie ball game. Albert Gallatin 14, Falcons 14. First and 10 for the Colonials from their own 20-yard line. Let's see if they can put on an 80-yard drive and 10 minutes and 18 seconds, run the clock out, score with 1 second to go, and there's your ball game.
Yeah. If only it was that easy, Rob.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be much of a game if it was. Moody's going to throw out the right toss. That's going to be met pretty quickly.
Tackled by number 58 for Connellsville. That's Cameron Warmack, a 6'3 senior, 220 pounds. And he definitely used that size to get an advantage in that backfield.
Absolutely. So we're going to have 2nd and 16 after the loss of 6 from the Colonial 14-yard line, 9:50 and counting in this ball game. Colonial's going to stretch the field on offense.
You can't run the ball 2 times like that.
Not after that unfortunate play. Moody does draw back to pass, and here comes, he's going to launch a ball. Dylan Shea looked like he was the potential receiver. There was a lot of pushing and shoving,
Yeah,
and a Connellsville defender that did not turn around, but
that's a questionable no call, but when the receiver engages,
yeah,
Dylan
that's
did
how you
there,
got to look at it.
it's hard
Yeah.
to justify it.
Yeah, I mean, in heat of the moment, you're going to react.
In a tied game without
Yes.
having a win this year, you're definitely fighting for that ball.
Absolutely. So here we go, 3rd and 16. Colonials on the 3rd down already from their 14-yard line. Moody under center. Going to take the snap. He's going to drop back once again, roll out to the right side, launch a ball, and it is incomplete. Very lucky that was not an interception.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
believe he had a receiver another 3 or 4 yards.
I think that was the intended target.
I think that was the intended, but with how heavy it was raining, but now it's just kind of sprinkling again.
The ball's still wet though.
I'm sure it got out of his hand. Whenever you drop back, cock the ball back.
On the move, too.
On the move, it's going to slide around
Yeah.
your hand a little bit, especially, maybe there's a lot of different factors that could go into that, but I would definitely blame that on that. I don't think the way that Moody's been playing pretty decently.
Ooh. What was that?
Well, that was the worst thing that definitely could have happened for the Colonials. Just a terrible punt. Might have gotten a hand on it.
And this is going to be.
This is
important.
This is big for the Falcons.
But the good thing for Colonials, they have enough time.
They have enough time.
There's a score.
Yes.
You have time to try to get it back.
And after the 3-yard punt, the Falcons will have 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line.
3-yard punt, Robbie.
That is ugly. That's the shortest punt you'll ever see. You can quote me on that. As the Falcons run the handoff to the right, and he's just bowling over people, and if he would not have stepped out of bounds, that's a Falcon touchdown.
26, Evan Connor.
Connor on the run for the Falcons, and like I said, he was pushed out of bounds there, but after the quick step out of bounds, he had a full running lane. .8:44 and counting left in the fourth quarter. We have a tie ball game still, 2nd and 10. Which should be a 1st and 10 from the Connellsville 17. Going to be a handoff once again. He's met in the backfield. The Colonials.
That was big by number 50. 50. Let me find my roster. Because he held on to that runner and didn't let go, and that helped stop him. Alex McMiller.
Absolutely.
And a loss of 4 on the play.
Gonna come up.
Down and 14
I want to correct myself. I said that was a 1st down play. That was actually 2nd down play. This is coming into a 3rd and 14 from the Colonial 21, 7:56 and counting. We have a timeout for the Falcons. So Connellsville has taken 1 timeout. Albert Gallatin has already taken 1 timeout, so we're 2 apiece for the rest of the ball game. Those could come up to be very crucial for both sides.
And if you're the Falcons, you have to put the ball in Mayer's hands. You have to let him control how this series is going to go.
On a 3rd and 14, Tommy, from what I've seen out of the Falcons, if they would snap that ball to Mayer and he would roll to the right, if they would design it for him to keep the ball and take off, I would think that's very effective.
Well, even a quarterback draw. I mean, the guy's a competitor. He's something special. I mean,
he's a competitor.
We've seen a lot of good teams. There may not be a more important player to a team than Mayer.
Absolutely. Yeah, Mayer is this Connellsville Falcons football team.
And only impressive, I would say a junior, so you have 1 more year.
They're going to take a shotgun snap. Most important offensive play for the Mayer and the Falcons as we have a penalty already, more than likely in the area of offsides, seeing as it came right off of the snap of the ball.
And be a false start called against the Falcons.
So Falcons' false start makes that 3rd and 14, a 3rd and 19 from the 26.
And I wish we were able to have a breakdown of how many penalty yards the Falcons have had on offense and defense.
Absolutely. The Falcons' penalty yards, they're lucky that it's 14-14 with how many penalties they've given up and how many chances they've given the Colonials. So Mayer's back in the shotgun. He passes it to a wide-open Rogers once again. Does not keep his hands on the ball.
Yeah.
And, that last penalty now, it's 4th and 19 from the 26. The chances of them making a field goal are pretty much obsolete.
But one thing to note, the weather has stopped. It's not raining anymore, so but it looks like they're going to call in
Mayer
another
coming in with the play. So 4th and 19 for the Falcons. Tie ball game, 7:45 to go in the 4th.
You have to watch for this quarterback keeper down the middle.
They have 26 yards to take the lead. Mayer in the shotgun, snap back. He drops back. The Colonial pressure is all over him. He throws the ball down the field. It's out of bounds. The Colonials will take over once again on a 4th down stand.
This is a thriller.
This is a real thriller. This is
just when you think that Colonials have put themselves out of the game with that punt, they're right back in it.
This defense.
And will Nate Sutton get redemption on a field goal?
I'd love to see it.
I would too.
I'd love to see a 17-14. 7:38 left in the 4th quarter.
And time favors the Colonials in this situation big time.
Absolutely.
on the quarterback keeper, number 11, Braden Moody.
So Braden Moody's going to keep the ball on the first down, gain of 3 anytime there's a gain of yardage. That is definitely okay. Keep that clock running, keep driving. We have a 2nd and 7 on the 29-yard line of the Colonials. Colonials trying to break this tie as we approach 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter, 14 apiece. Moody snaps the ball after the man in motion. Minimal gain once again, but one more minimal gain will get you a first down.
Yep. 3 and 4 yards adds up.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. If you only need 10, you get 4 yards every time. That's 12 yards after 3.
Yep.
This will bring up 3rd down and 2.
3rd down and 2 with 6:30 left in the fourth quarter. The Colonials are one big play away. Both of those scoring drives had one big play.
I'm doing a quarterback keeper here. I
Quarterback
feel like
keeper?
you've been running the play all year. I mean, now's the time you should run it.
Absolutely, and there's a run up the middle.
Cole Dupont with the ball, it looked like.
Not quite a quarterback keeper, but very close, and should be enough for a Colonial first down, I would say, after forward progress.
Yep, first down.
First down, Colonials.
And a gain of 3 yards. And a
As soon as they reset
first
these
down.
chains, clock will wind at 6:11 left in the fourth quarter.
If you're the Colonials, there's not a better spot to be in right now.
Absolutely. You can, 6:11 and counting as we approach 6 minutes now.
From their own 37-yard line.
Not going to be hard to hang on to that ball with how monotonous these drives have been from both teams. Moody's going to snap the ball. That play's going to go nowhere
And on
for the
keeper, number 11,
Colonials.
Braden Moody.
He's going to keep the
Lost
ball.
about a yard in the play.
Loss of 1, so we're going to come up with a 2nd and 11 from the Colonial 36.
Correction, no gain on the play to bring up 2nd down and 10.
Oh, so they were generous on that spot.
They have wiped the 1 yard loss off, so it's 2nd and 10 from the Colonial 37.
And every inch is going to matter in these last
Every inch will
minutes.
absolutely matter, yes. So let's see what they can do here. Colonials ready to snap the ball. Moody under center. Puts a man in motion. Moody is back to pass. He has Doyle down the field.
Oh.
Very close once again. Very close.
Robbie, you may have an answer to this. I'm not understanding the Colonials' play design for Moody to be rolling out to his left opposed to his right.
I've noticed that earlier in the game where he gets in this position where he wants to throw the ball, but his body is the wrong way because he throws to the other side. So that's making it very tough for Moody as we have 5 minutes even left in the
I just
fourth
don't
quarter.
understand with a play action design, wouldn't you want him to roll right? I mean, I understand maybe every once in a while changing it up.
He's just going to be just short.
Christian Stone.
Just short.
4th and 2, you have to go for it.
Do you go for it?
Your punting has really been the reason Collinsville has hung around this game.
Absolutely. Moody running the play in. 4th down and 2. And it's like you said, Tommy, if you get away from that punt, it's 14-7.
Yeah.
14-7.
If not even better. I mean,
Yes.
it's just
very
it's a
true.
factor.
Very true. So 4th down and 2.
He got it.
The Colonials will have the first down.
And on the keeper, number 11, Braden Moody. And good for a Colonial.
That's a huge
first
play.
down.
The Colonials will have the first down. They will keep this drive moving.
And what Colonial fans are here, they are excited.
Absolutely.
This was definitely worth sticking out, and you can see the fans, they can feel that this is going to be something special. Regardless of how this ending is, the Colonials showed
They
determination
closed
throughout
out the
this whole
season
game.
right. I don't care what happens. This is how you close out the season. Colonials run the 1st and 10. Ball's back. Going to run out to the outside on the
And on
right.
the carry, number 25, Corey Robinson.
And I don't know if I agree with them running it to the outside just because that stops the clock.
I also agree. So we have 3.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Colonials still have 52 yards before they can reach the end zone.
And Robbie, there isn't an overtime in high school, correct?
Oh, there is.
There is?
There is. Unless they've changed it, I believe there is. I mean, I assume the two teams could get together and elect for a tie.
But
because
we're not going to see that tonight. If that's even
I
in the
doubt
realm
it.
of
I mean,
possible.
there's no playoff implications to this game, so it's tough to tell. But we might see as Moody passes the ball out for a
Catches
nice
made by number
game.
25,
Tory Robinson.
Tory Robinson once
Forced out of
again.
bounds by number 18, Gage Gillard.
So the Colonials are on the Falcon side of the field. We face another third down for Albert Gallatin. Going to be a 3rd and 5 from the Falcon 47-yard line. And Tommy, I mean, if you get 3 or 4 yards here and go for it again.
You have 2 downs, get 5 yards.
Absolutely.
Don't do anything stupid. Just don't give the Falcons a chance to get the ball.
Moody snaps the ball. He takes off on his own, and it's going to be real close, but I think he got it. He's going to get another first down. Another first down for the
we have
Colonials.
a flag, though.
Okay.
We have a late flag on the play.
Little extracurricular, looked like.
And if you're a coach for either team, you're disappointed.
Oh, absolutely.
If this is on the Falcons, this is huge because that would put the Colonials roughly around at least a 35-yard line.
Absolutely, and it's going to be on the Falcons. It is going to be on the Falcons.
This is huge.
Another penalty.
If you're the Colonials, you have to, like right now, you see there's taunting. You can't do that. You have to understand the magnitude of anything that you would do to cause a penalty.
Absolutely, but Tommy, I'm going to unfortunately take our excitement away. Offsetting penalties. But not a bad thing.
No.
Not a bad thing. As
Could
the
be
Colonials
worse.
take over for 1st and 10 on the Falcon 41-yard line. 2.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Tie ball game. Moody's back. Moody's going to take off. Moody up the middle.
Wow.
Is going to be very close to another first down.
Where was this all game? This
Absolutely.
is something. This is playing with heart.
Tackle made by number 78, Cameron King of the Falcons.
This is real big. As we approach 2 minutes left in the game, Colonials have the ball. They are driving. They are roughly 50 yards into this drive with 32 yards to go. We're under 2 minutes. Tie ball game. Moody back. Rolls out to the right. He's going to throw the ball down the field. That ball appears to be caught. That ball is caught. The ref is going to give him the spot.
Catch is made by number 6, Dylan Shea.
Dylan Shea coming through on the offense.
And Robbie, it's funny. We talked about this, though, but we're going to get in that scenario. Do you bring out the kicker?
It's getting real close with 2 timeouts for each team. 1:43 on the clock in the fourth quarter. The Colonials down to the 20-yard line of the Connellsville Falcons. 1st and 10. Moody under center. He's going to keep it himself. And we might have a fumble.
He was down.
We might have a fumble. We'll see what the referees have to say.
I mean, he was down.
We'll see what the referees had to say.
And no gain on the play. Bring up second down.
He is down. He is
I was going to
down.
say that's unfortunate. If they
you could hear a pin drop in here at that, before they said that he was down.
And that's where, when you don't have instant replay, that's heartbreaking.
Yes, absolutely.
Because it's hard for, I mean, we can see a bird's eye view. It's kind of easier to see.
Everybody in here is going to see a different angle, and everybody in here is going to have a different
Exactly,
opinion.
especially for whatever colors you're wearing tonight.
Absolutely. So we're down to 40 seconds with 2 timeouts. And we're going to make that 1 timeout. Albert Gallatin's going to take one.
And I will say this. If I'm the Colonials, I do trust my field goal unit if you get down to the 15-yard line. Maybe 10-yard line. I don't know. It's definitely
If they have 40 seconds and one timeout. It's 2nd and 10. If you can get one 10-yard play, that's
an extra point. He's been money on extra points.
That's gonna be pretty decent.
I mean, it's safe to say that Nate Sutton is not a punter, but he is definitely a good place kicker.
Yes, absolutely. He's drilling those extra points. Now, I don't know if I've seen him make a field goal attempt this season.
No,
I don't recall.
I think he's only maybe had one all year, though.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
this is a time to have a second one. So 40 seconds to go in a tie ball game, 14 apiece. Albert Gallatin on the Falcon 20-yard line, 2nd and 10.
There's confusion.
There either confusion or Moody changing the play, but there's Mayer on the defensive side of the ball trying to guide the Falcons, and there's an excellent toss just in time, but no gain. No gain. The Connellsville Falcon defense, just an incredible stop, and I think that was Mayer on the stop.
Now the Colonials need to get going. I mean, there's
they are taking way too much time here. We're down to 20 seconds and rolling.
You can't.
We have players from the Colonials pointing at the scoreboard to the coaches, and they're still letting the clock run.
They're going to try to send out.
It's still running. Okay, there's a timeout.
With how much time left, Robbie?
2 seconds left. They let that run down.
Oh, my gosh, this is something.
They let that run down from 30 seconds. You absolutely could have ran another play.
Easily.
I cannot believe that.
Why wouldn't you throw the ball and then the clock stops if it hits the ground?
Exactly.
This was poor. That's poor management.
That is unbelievable.
Because
there's Colonial players pointing at the scoreboard towards the sideline saying, look at this time.
And
There's
this
only
is
seconds left.
I mean, I don't think their plan is to kick a field goal. It may be. It is. They're going to try
to kick the field goal.
And you know what? That, if Nate Sutton misses this kick, that's on coaching because they could have easily got 5 to 10 yards.
Absolutely, Tommy. Well, here we go.
This is a game.
From the left hash mark, 2 seconds left, 14-14.
The O-line needs to block here. Give him a chance.
The field goal, number 32, Nathan Sutton.
Nathan Sutton on for the 3 points. This will win the game for the Colonials.
And if you're the you have to block for Nate Sutton. You cannot let this be a blocked field goal.
Let's keep an eye on the referees to give us the signal. 2 seconds left. 14-14.
They're going to ice the kicker. Yep.
There's the ice. There is the ice. Now Connellsville had 2 timeouts.
Yep.
I'm all focused on the field goal now. Now Connellsville has 2 timeouts. They may be able to use the next one too. This is the biggest game in a long time at Albert Gallatin.
I just hope that the Colonials aren't going to think of doing a fake field goal or something. I'm just hoping.
20 yards away, I'm a little nervous.
I mean, I'm just hoping that's not a thought process.
Connellsville firing up there.
And it's definitely working.
Crowd. Once again, 2 seconds left. Tie ball game. This kick from Nathan Sutton will win it for the Colonials. Connellsville changing up their defensive look. The snap is back. The hold is good. The kick is blocked. The kick is blocked by Connellsville. The kick is blocked.
And the kick is blocked.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Overtime.
At the end of regulation, the score remains tied. 14-all.
Unbelievable, Tommy. Unbelievable.
I think he would have made that. I really do.
I don't know. I think it was within his abilities.
It would have been nice to see if he could have.
Wow.
That's something. And I don't know how the rules work for overtime in high school. I don't know if
I'm
we're gonna
really
have.
not sure. They have 2 minutes on the clock, and I don't entirely know.
We're in uncharted water
we have
here.
3 minutes on the clock now, so we will see.
I think they're guessing just like us, Robbie.
Yeah, right. Oh, there's a 3-minute delay. So we have a couple minutes for the Falcons and the Colonials to get a game plan together. Well, while they are getting set for overtime here, we are going to take a brief break along with the players. It's 14-14 here at York Run Stadium. We will be right back on AGTV Sports. Welcome back to York Run Stadium after that brief break. As we said before, there's about a minute left here before we're going to get started with overtime here at York Run Stadium with Albert Gallatin and Connellsville. We're tied at 14 apiece. Nate Sutton lined up for the game-winning field goal as time would have expired with 2 seconds left. The Falcons able to dominate and block that field goal. So we'll see what overtime brings. Unfortunately, and I do apologize, I'm not quite sure how overtime works. We're definitely not used to covering overtime, to say the least, here with Albert Gallatin. They are going to go out for a coin toss. It's more of how much time will they put on the clock here. So let's see what they set things up to as we get to 10 seconds left on the brief intermission period. Captains at midfield once again. I don't mean to leave things silent, but we're trying.
Yeah, there's not much to.
We're trying to figure out what's going on, just as much as everybody else, I'm sure.
All I know is this coin toss has to be crucial.
Absolutely. Well, it'd either be sudden death or along the lines of college, I would assume.
What I can't
that's
see.
the
What's the
only
clock set to?
It's not set yet. That's what's throwing me off. We're still at the 20-yard line for Nathan Sutton's field goal attempt.
I almost want to say that it's a 5-yard or 5-minute quarter. Does that sound right?
I would say 5 minutes. I mean, a quarter in high school football is 12 minutes. So it looks like, judging by the excitement, the Falcons will get the ball. Now here's the thing, Tommy, they could just start. There may not be a time, because they're still at 0 as the Falcons have taken the field.
This is very interesting.
Well, the Falcons have taken the ball, or the Falcons have set up on defense. I apologize. We're still trying to figure all this out.
Maybe it is college rules.
I'm going
and you know
to
what
say,
it may be, Robbie?
Well, the former college rules.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And what it may be, maybe the two teams are able to agree upon a certain set of rules.
That's also potential. I mean, this game doesn't have playoff implications. AG fighting for their first win tonight. Connellsville has 2 wins on the season.
And I
so they
like
may
this
be
system.
able-
I think this is a fair system.
Yes, they may be able to make a decision if there is one, but it looks like we're going to be first down and 10 from the 10-yard line. Colonials have the ball. Now, if the Colonials are able to score here, Connellsville will then have an opportunity to score. If Connellsville can match what the Colonials have done on the previous attempts, then we will keep rolling in that pattern. But you only have the 4 downs to get into the end zone as Albert Gallatin runs their first play for looks like no gain. It's going to be 2nd down and 10. 2nd down and 9 from the 9. They are going to give the Colonials a 1-yard gain, like that gain coming by the legs of Cole DuPont.
And you have one more down to do something like that
Absolutely.
before you have to start maybe thinking about changing it up a bit.
Absolutely.
I would stick on the ground for one more play.
So here comes a pass from Moody, and it's intercepted. Now college rules, that would be the end of the game. The former college rules, that would be it.
Whoa, we have incomplete. That was the weirdest. I've never seen a ref make a call like that.
Well, I take that back. That wouldn't be the end of the game because we're still at a tie. So, again, apologies. We're having a little
now
bit.
Connellsville is going to get a chance.
Connellsville, instead of Albert Gallatin being able to go 4 downs, Connellsville now gets the ball, but instead of having to drive 90-some-odd yards down the field,
And Joshua Mayer is going to win this game.
Joshua Mayer will have the ball at the 10-yard line. He will have 4 tries to get it in the end zone or kick a field goal. Now, if Connellsville scores, seeing as that AG did not score.
Oh, another drop.
So if Connellsville were to score here, because AG did not get points, Connellsville will win the game.
And that also includes a field goal, correct?
That does include a field goal. My assumption is it would.
Yeah, I mean, from our rules that we're trying to formulate up here.
Yes. I'm just trying to run with what I see. So because there's no points to beat, you would then win the game. So Mayer back for the 2nd down play. The Colonial defense is going to stack him up deep.
And I thought Mayer was going to win this game with his legs, but the defense is just so good that he's not able to control the game like he was earlier. This defense is just
absolutely
they're nonstop. That seemed like on that pass play, regardless of if it was caught or not, the defense was all over it.
Absolutely. So we got 3rd down and 15 from the 15. So the Falcons will have this chance to either get in the end zone, or on 4th down, they can go for it on the end zone, or they can kick a field goal. So Mayer's rolling out for a pass. He throws it. It is completed. It is completed near the 10-yard line. So the Falcons do have an opportunity now to win the game.
So Robbie, are we going to go then, if they wouldn't convert here, go to Colonials getting the ball again?
The Colonials would get the ball on the 10-yard line. The process would
repeat.
In theory,
we don't know what the...
Well, in theory, because there's been times where the Colonials didn't score, say the Falcons don't score, then it could be sudden death.
Yeah.
It could be sudden death. Basically, when somebody scores and one crowd goes crazy and the other crowd is very disappointed, we will let you know.
When we see the team running off the field, we'll know what happened.
Yes, we will let you know.
But all we know is the Colonials need to stop them here.
Yes, and each team with 1 timeout, the Colonials just have just taken theirs. So this is the kind of situation where there is no tie.
Yeah.
You cannot tie. So the Falcons will line up for the field goal.
Wow.
Mayer is the holder. This is for the win in overtime, hypothetically.
As far as we know.
Snap is back, and there are whistles. There are whistles and a flag. There are whistles and a flag. Now this could be just enough to push the Falcons out of field goal range, barring what it is. There will be no first down call. There cannot be a first down call because it is theoretically fourth and goal, rather.
And if you're the Colonials, you almost have to be okay with jumping offside. You have to block this.
Yes.
You can't, and
Yes.
if you're giving up yards, whatever.
Yes. It's overtime. It's the final game of the season. It's 14-14. Do whatever.
Timeout Colonials. They must get 2.
Well, they've been at a 0 on timeouts. So either the scoreboard is not correct or the refs have missed that.
Whatever it is, we have a stoppage in play. And the Colonials are trying to get the crowd into this. Make it a factor.
All right, very quick timeout to talk things over. We don't know if it was allowed or not, but anything goes in overtime apparently. And what could be the final play for Albert Gallatin in the Whippeal, barring this field goal does not go in. Let's see what the Falcons can do for the win in overtime. Now that's an offsides. Now that looked strategic.
Yeah.
That looked like he just
because the closer
offsides.
you move them, it's going to be more.
It's going to be a harder
yeah.
angle, correct? And it doesn't matter because every time it's going to be a fourth down over and over again. You can't take, you can't just say, okay, you guys are doing something. Let's make a third down.
You wonder, and this isn't going to be the case, if Connsville would be tempted to go for it then, if it was like a 4th and 1. But obviously,
either way,
either
way. So, once again, 4th down and 2 from the 2-yard line. Connellsville lines up for the game-winning field goal. Snap is back. Hold is good. Kick is up. Connellsville has won the game. Connellsville has come back from down 14-7, and they have defeated the Colonials. That is absolutely heartbreaking for one side, and that is incredible for the other side.
Regardless,
how well the Colonials played and how shaky Connellsville played. And this is the outcome. Crazy how it works. Crazy how it works. But great game on both sides. That was an incredible way. Either way, that was incredible.
The best game the Colonials have played, and they should walk away proud of what they finished.
Absolutely. You took a solid Connellsville Falcon team to overtime. You put up a great fight. A couple things at the end didn't go your way. That happens. Season's over. Take that momentum, start rolling into next season. Just absolutely heartbreaking for the Colonials, but what a game by the Falcons. They did have a bit of a shaky game, but guys like Mayer, guys like Ozias, great, just great all around. Couple key guys. That kicker, I was unable to catch his number, and I do apologize about that. But he deserves a lot of credit. That can't be. I mean, I've never kicked a field goal, but that cannot be easy kicking it from that angle.
And like you said, kudos to both teams. The Colonials special teams ultimately caught up with them.
Absolutely. Well, Tommy, it's been a pleasure to be by you this whole season.
It was fun, thank you.
It was absolutely fun. I enjoyed it, and I thank you too. But for the last time, until next year, tonight's final score is Connellsville 17, Albert Gallatin 14. I'm Rob Flockovich, this is Tommy Victor, and we want to thank you for watching the AGTV Sports on Channel 77 Fan TV.